Oh my god.
Private one in Carolina.
There was also a helicopter that went down in Ohio. Actually, not that far away from me.
That's
Probably like
scary.
40 miles south.
Damn. Kind of spooky.
Fuck are you going, you stupid bird?
Bird's getting him some Hershey Kisses.
I'll kiss you. The mouth.
Duna has been
Not
slain.
if I kiss Ash. Checkmate, Ash.
Oh.
That's true. He almost said the word. That's true.
Word.
Bird up. Bird up. Word up. Bird
I was
up.
about to say,
Yeah. True.
I felt it like one of those acid reflux burps.
What was it? Yeah. Man.
It's like he predicted it without
It's like
predicting it.
he parried. He parried before the word came out. Nice parry. Good parry. Good parry.
Fans.
Seems like our Lance is doing good. Paying off.
We are the single brain cell.
Start singing that Chinese song. Oh, that's true. They already know your location, brother.
Ni hao, motherfucker.
Don't say that ever again. Quite
Konnichiwa,
sensitive.
bitches.
I'm quite sensitive right now.
Alright, fine. Is Konnichiwa bitches better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
¿Cómo estás, Mandalorian?
Chilling.
Bing chaling.
Bingu chilling.
Bingu chilingu.
Bingu
Bingu.
chilling.
Hey, you should restart your stream. Nothing.
Hey, Trouble, what does your
Do
character
over.
name even say? Like, what is your character name? I can't read it.
It's Yaju Yori. It's literally
Okay.
the two names combined
But why?
of 4-star sabers. Why? Because it was
But
easy. I
why?
just copy paste.
Damn. It was easy.
Yeah, it's easy. I
That's
just
what?
copy paste.
Copy paste.
Living in a world so cold.
Ash, this is a FGO stream, not a singing stream. Thank you.
My bad, dog.
Yeah,
You say it louder.
No.
Who sang that song, Ash?
Now he's shy.
Answer the question.
What's the question?
Who sang that?
Me?
Are you gay?
No, like, who originally sang that?
One sec. I had it up on my YouTube music, actually.
Goodbye, cat.
Again! Some people, chat. They just can't be trusted. Okay. He returns, yes. I will return to you on the 5th day. In the evening hour. Ugh. Okay. Can't let me. Sorry, I'm working a little slow here. Just been distracted. That is 100% all me. I need yesterday's, well, Wednesday's sauce. I'd also like to apologize for missing 2 streams this week, guys. Not normal for me. I've just been equal parts tired and equal parts, like, busy. I did basically just sit there and play a bunch of Monster Hunter yesterday, but it was mostly just a mental like flush day for me. Today should be a full FGO day. All right, the tweet is live. Do me the favor, go give that some love. And let me find you guys today's sauce. What did I do with it? There it is. It's good to have rest days for you. Yeah, it's just like, it's weird because I even got more sleep last night. I still feel tired. Samurai Heart. Okay. Think we're good to go. Get this party started. Of course, it lagged out because I didn't press the thing. Hello, everyone. Here is today's artwork. I actually did forget to reset the bot as well, so I'll go ahead and I'll do that right now. But here, make sure you guys go give the artist some love. Sent to both sides of the equation. Let me know if song request isn't working, because I think it is, but I'm not sure. Meet a girl like you. Meet a girl like you. Ah. Okay. Everything else should be coming online. How's it going? I'm doing okay. Otherwise, like I said, I'm just tired, overworked. I like mentally am kind of dead to a large degree, but it is what it is. I feel bad if I don't stream, and so it's like the fact that I missed 2 days in 1 week. I can only blame myself. I could have streamed, but it was just one of those deals where it's like, yeah, I felt like it was better to just take a break. There's not a whole lot going on in FGO. The viewership numbers kind of show that. A lot of people just are not coming to stream right now. I don't blame anyone. It's like there's just not genuine interest. Which, again, I will say just a brief but heartfelt thank you to everybody that does stick around till the end of streams. Everybody that, like, even when I switch over to the variety, they don't bail and stuff like that. Because when there's, times like these, there's not a whole lot going on. It's nice to at least like have people still like come watch me when I'm doing other stuff. So it definitely helps. Karaoke stream soon, please. I don't know. I've never like thought about like trying to like properly do any sort of karaoke stream or anything like that. So I'll be honest, FGO will probably be in a better state if CBC is removed. It always seems to kill interest. I don't think CBC kills interest. I think everything happening around it does. I think CBC and it being kind of dead time is a natural reaction to people being burnt out from all of the early year festivities and then going into Valentine's Day, which is usually a pretty cumbersome event in every meaning of that word, where you have a ton of banners, you have usually an event with a complex gimmick of some sort, and on top of that, you end up having all of the Valentine's Seas that people at minimum usually have to deal with, let alone have to watch. So I think like anything coming after Valentine's Day, always going to be dead time for the game. I recall when CBC had no story event, it was even deader. Yeah, exactly. I knew plenty of people that would just skip CBC back in the day, and it's like I think it's fine that they actually do something with it now. So it's like I don't think CBC itself is the problem. I think this is the natural ebb and flow of the game. A lot of people, I think, forget that like we are usually at this point like coming out of like basically a gauntlet of like Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And somewhere in here, a lot of years is story on top of that. We had all 4 of these things. So it's like, yeah, it just naturally, anything coming after this point is a lull. People just naturally take a break because, again, like, I think it's healthy for people to. I think it's not something where it's like, oh my God, like you have to be like 100%ing this game all year round. I think that's the problem that a lot of mobile games, that a lot of gacha games, that a lot of live service games struggle with is they don't give people breaks. They try to be like, no, you will come play our game. You will not play our game. Here's all of the reasons you must play our game. FGO, thankfully, doesn't really force you to. So it's always your prerogative. Need to fix the art command, by the way. Forgot the space after art, did I? You're right, I did. Thank you. Let me make sure it's that way on the YouTube side. There you guys go. Sorry about that. That's me being in a hurry. People are trying to recharge for the collab. Yeah. I think like even in like over in Japan, this is busy time period for everybody. And that's why like you have Golden Week, which chat, if you don't know, Golden Week is usually like the holiday for Japan where like all of the major festivals occur. So they get the entire week off, like everybody in Japan does. So it's why they kind of try to like line up a big event with that, because they know everyone's off. They know a lot of people have a lot of extra money and stuff for the festivals. So they basically just go like, boom, here you go. Now we have a primed opportunity for you guys to spend. So I think it's normally a very like tough time. You got a lot of stuff that happens in the spring in the business world. So it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, again, for me, it's tax season. So, and that doesn't just impact me. That impacts everyone because everybody has taxes they got to file. So it is naturally a thing that has a lot of kickback. At least CBC 90++ as eggs as drops in an A. Yeah, definitely nice. I was saying before, but if you guys do have an MLBC, please do me a favor, throw it up in the all slot on your Oberon, God, whose name I could not remember. Just because it's what I'm currently taking, and almost nobody seems to have MLBs on the Oberon. They have them on, like, honestly, I've seen people with MLBs on, like, damage dealers in the all slot, and I'm like, maybe they don't have Oberon, but I'm like, please just put it on the Oberon at least as well. Because I'm not filtering by type, I'm filtering by MLB if possible. I mean, Death Project Nobu is annoying to me, so I've just been using Nobu Venger for all the ways. Yeah, you can. But no, I mean, it's been a rough couple of days for me. I was told apparently this is like, I gotta work this weekend, I gotta work tomorrow. And I was told apparently like we only have 3 of these weekends left, thank God. So like that basically means I'm within like 6 weeks of the end. And that like that's both a like, oh thank God, but it's also a like, no, why would you make me aware of that? Because the problem is the longer you count down, the more it just becomes like present in your mind. And that like last weekend, you're just like, please. What daylight savings does to a motherfucker. Yeah, daylight savings didn't help things. It sucks that now when I get up, it's dark again, and I'm not used to it. And so like I get up. Like I said, I had longer sleep than I normally do last night, and I got up and I was more tired. It's like that doesn't make any sense, but it's the most tired I have been all week. So it's just like, holy crap, when that sort of thing happens. Finished off golfing Castoria, I see. I also like to take Castoria golfing. Where's my NA Fate Grand Order questionnaire? Did we not get one this year for NA? I think this was the year though that JP had a delay in there, so we might not get ours till like around anniversary. If you golfer tier list one, I'm gonna be honest with you. Out of all the sports, golf to me is the least sport. Like it definitely takes some technical skill, right? But it's not. It is. There's a reason all the old people play it. It is not an active sport. It's the sport that I probably know the least about. Like I know most of the rules and stuff, but like if you ask me things about like what it takes to have a good golf swing, I could tell you what it takes to have a good baseball swing. I could not tell you what it takes to have a good golf swing. Like I just it's a similar but different swing. So I'd have no idea what would make a good golfer. Golfing is only a little bit more of a sport than fishing. Yeah, I'd actually kind of agree with that. It's not that it doesn't take skill. It's not that it doesn't take practice. It does, right? But it is quite literally stand there and hit the ball. And the ball is stationary. The much more active equivalent would be baseball, where it's stand there and hit the ball, but the ball's being pitched at you at 90 miles an hour by a dude standing a long way away and with all the time and movement that he can to try and like make that ball or spin that he can put on the ball in order to make that ball move, right? Gummy bears? Holy shit. I haven't heard this one in a long time. What about in comparison to curling? I don't know the first thing about curling either. I just know you shout Ein, zwei, dry and you try to push something down the ice. It's boring to watch, but probably better to play. Yeah, my understanding and the reason people love golf is because it is just that. It's like you go out, you get to be outside, You get to like talk with people and lounge about, waiting for everybody to take their turn. It's a very social sport, right? And you know, again, if you're younger, I'm sure even older people to a degree as well, you just get to drink. So like a lot of people just enjoy going out there and like either throwing back a couple beers or like having something harder. I'm halfway done with CBC, been doing Nat AP, been consumed by Breath of the Wild brain rot. I've been consumed by Monster Hunter Wilds brain rot. And it's been fun. I've been like over the past week here, every couple of days I go back and I play some Marvel Rivals. I do not enjoy the current event that they have, because if you guys have not seen it, it is the like, you know, those like really shitty mobile games where they have like a board game map and you have to like roll dice and move around it. So kind of like board game apocalypse, but not like Monopoly. Think like Life instead. And like so many of those games are so crap with how they handle things. That's what they put in to Marvel Rivals, and I fucking hate that shit. It's hilarious though, because my first trip around the map, I got I got 3 of the 4 major things. I got the MVP animation, I got the skin, and I got one of the 2 100 currency things, all in one trip around the map. Now, here's the thing. I could have also just similarly gotten nothing. So I got lucky, right? But that's where I'm just like, yeah, no, I hate this style of event. It's designed to shackle you to the game and just make you keep playing it constantly. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. So it's like, I may sit there and still keep doing my dailies and stuff for the currency, but like, I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna go play like the new game mode or anything like that to try and like min-max that board. I think that stuff is crap. So it's like I learned though too, it's like you can basically be gone from Marvel Rivals like every 3 days. You just have to come back and do your dailies, and it's because your dailies will accumulate and they'll expire after 3 days. So it's like I can actually just let it rot for a couple days at a time. And it's funny too, because I had several challenges that I didn't have done, and in the process of like today, I got all of my dailies done and like 9 different challenges done at the same time. Just wiped them out. And I was like, oh sweet, don't have to play for another 3 days. And it's fine. Like, it's not that I hate Rivals or anything like that. I love it. I'll keep going back to it. It's just one of those deals of me being like, well, but I'm obsessed with Monster Hunter right now. So why would I play Rivals when I have Wilds? And like eventually I'll get tired of Rivals and I'll go back to, tired of Wilds and I'll go back to Rivals. And then, you know, who knows, there may be other stuff coming in the future. Like I still have a bunch of RPGs I need to get out there and play. I still got Metaphor. I still got Kingdom Come Deliverance. So like there's still a ton of stuff that's kind of hanging around for me. Disney Afternoon was my childhood beat thing in the 90s TV. Understandable. Playing God of War Ragnarok, and then I plan to do the Valhalla DC. How are you liking it? Like, did you play the first one at all, JC? Waiting for a few performance fixes before I go back to Wild. It's quite stuttery on my PC. Yeah, I can't explain it. For me, I turned off my XMP, and I have not had a singular issue with the game since. And I even downloaded the high-res textures. I have ray tracing. I have DLSS. I have everything they tell you not to turn on. I have it all turned on. The only thing I have turned off is my XMP profile in my BIOS. And now the game runs like a dream. So it's like, I don't know how they kind of want to do it. But yeah, it's clear to me that both Wilds and Rivals, to a degree, like they're both kind of unoptimized in a lot of ways. Like I saw Rivals apparently in their new patch, they allow you to report people for leaving in a match. And I've seen people before where they get really upset about people leaving a match. And I'm like, sometimes there are absolute leavers, right? Other times, no, people are just DCing. So to me, I'm like, you shouldn't allow people to report leavers, until you fix your crashing problem that the game clearly has that affects everyone. Like, no matter their computer, Rivals will crash intermittently for people. So it's like, I'm like, until you fix that, I don't think you can penalize anyone and start handing out bans and stuff like that. That's stupid to me. That one's one where you probably won't see many people complain about it. The community will laud it and praise it, but that one will actually affect their player count in a stupid way, because that just is one of the dumbest decisions I have ever seen a developer make. It's like they're willfully ignorant. Apparently now, too, the new skin for Loki, the President Loki skin that they just brought out a couple of days ago, apparently that is crashing OBS. And I'm like, apparently, like, Shroud is pissed about it. And I'm like, good. Maybe now, finally, they have a big enough issue that they're going to have to go back and fucking fix their crashes. Because, I'm sorry, the devs are doing a great job balancing the game, but they're doing a trash job fixing their game. And that definitely needs to be addressed. President Loki kind of crashing part of the system's kind of meta. Oh yeah, no, I just like I find it funny that this is probably, it's such a stupid little thing, but it's finally going to be the catalyst that makes them change, because it's going to piss off all the streamers trying to stream the game. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Especially if they know that you're a streamer, you're going to see someone purposely pick the skin to try and crash the stream. So like, it's just going to be dumb. I actually love it. So far, it's fun and the story is fantastic. I liked the story for the second God of War game. I say second, it's technically not the second modern God of War game. It was good. I liked the first one better. And to me, as many cool things as there are in the second game, I actually have some issues with the story overall. But you're still playing through it. I don't want to talk about that till you're done, because I don't want to like risk spoiling somebody. But I had a couple major issues with the story in the end that made me not like the second one as much as the first. But that being said, supposedly there's yet another God of War game already in the works, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, you know all the story beats. Okay. Yeah, my issue with it was basically like it was a couple things. I didn't really much care for the kid's love interest. I thought she was rather shoehorned in how they did her. I didn't care for the portrayal of Valhalla itself. I thought that was, out of every fantasy version of Valhalla I've seen, I thought that was objectively the worst. And not in the sense of like they went simplistic with it. I think that could have been fine. They could have made it work. But in the sense that it was a fucking tiny little like community. And I'm like, no, it's Valhalla. It literally wouldn't look that way. Like, and then I think the third for me was kind of how the game ended, but I won't talk about that because, again, in case anyone actually does want to play. Like messing around with the spear? Yeah. The gameplay in 2 was great. I thought that was absolutely the highlight. Like, I loved the changes that they made from the first game, because in that one, they just took what already existed and improved upon it. And that was just awesome. I haven't done the DLC, though. I haven't either. I just noticed daylight savings is over. Yes, we are back at our normal time-ish. Only got my second bronze C MLB on an A. 4 different bronze Cs for an event is too much. Yeah, that's one of the problems with trying to like roll out your FP to get stuff. Ooh, that is spicy close to 400. Let's Let's do something about that. I need to deal with those seas. I hated this challenge quest on NA. I don't even remember these challenge quests on NA. Like, I'll probably remember it as I do it, but I have not looked at them at all yet. Ending it where it ended was fine. As an experience ending, it was satisfying. Yeah, I didn't have issue with that per se. All that chocolate melting in Cad's backpack. Listen, it's Florida. Surely it won't. Also, I find this really funny. I have this filtered to MLB. All CEs yet again. I cannot get a Castoria to show up to save my life. I keep having that issue where it's like people do have like CEs on their Castoria. They're just not showing up. And maybe everybody on NA, maybe I'm contrary and everybody on NA is running like Buster comps for this. Coins for the Grail God. Isn't Florida hot? Yeah. It was like 85 today. I'm not sure what that is in non-freedom units, but you know, it'd be what it'd be. I am indeed running Buster. Yeah, I mean, I imagine most people don't have the Squirtoria, at least of this caliber, to be able to do it. I think you can do it like an NP2, but I do think, again, like most people are just going like, no, not worth. Which, go with whatever works for you. I got some of the Silver Sea with daily disappointments, so that was nice. Nice. I don't have many options for the 90++ in general. Yeah, it basically takes a pretty hefty hitting unit in order to get like if you're gonna sit here and try to like AoE over the top of all these waves, it's kind of rough. I think your better solution is to probably have somebody handle waves 2 and 3 and then to just death proc the first round. But that also requires specific units, so it's a little bit of a like in a weird way, this node is almost like perfectly designed because for a lot of accounts, they don't have issues with 2 of the 3 waves. They only have issue with 1 of them. And what that wave is different for everybody's account, it seems. So there are people that have complained about the first wave, people that have complained about the second, people that have complained about the third. And it's just like, goddamn, that they actually, this is a like perfectly balanced node in that regard. They found a like node that's just difficult for a lot of people. Doesn't matter the order I put these in. But it's switched points node to finish. Yeah, you can. Problem I always have with these is like, in the end, I never have enough craft essences. You'll be able to do it with Balbon, maybe. Yeah, I think someone was saying yesterday they were doing it with Balbon. If you use Sith, you can clear waves 1 and 2 easy, but wave 3 is annoying. Right, yeah. So it's like, you're just going to have problems. No matter what you're doing. NP2 double cast area works, yeah. What is this, guys? What? Why the Scotty? Is it Balbon? Is that why? Thank you, Zort. How's FGO these days? It's doing okay. We're kind of in a dead period right now. It's just CBC. Not too much going on. We are awaiting our collab event coming up, as well as another lotto. And on JP, probably Ordeal Call 4 soon. Oh, no. I'm gonna mess up if I don't press that. What's wrong with Scotty? Nothing's wrong with Scotty. It's the fact that they only have it on their Scotty. I'm using Kukulkan. Yeah, I mean, Kukulkan is probably somebody that can hit hard enough for this. Because I know, like, people were memeing that they were able to do this node with Melisson, even though it was Sabers. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, honestly, the HP values of the Sabers are not insanely strong, right? So it's like, the issue is having the right units to be able to overcome it. And Melisson, as long as you can get her over the hump of the first enemy, you're probably fine. I enjoyed seeing you and others play this. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I do the 90 plus node, not bothering with this Frankenstein monster of a node. I mean, I would just tell you again, do the 90 plus node and don't care about, not 3-turning it. I think people put way too much of an emphasis on 3-turning a node that has no time limit. Well, I say no time limit. There is a time limit. It's just like, you're not sitting there probably popping apples, so you don't really care how long it takes you to do the node. Unless it's a, like, hey, I only have so much time in the day type of thing. Have you decided what NP you want Tiamat at? No. I haven't. It's probably, like... It's either going to be a, like, token copy, or it's going to be, like, NP2. I won't be NP5ing her. I have too many other units I need to NP5. And frankly, bank account not doing too hot at the moment due to economic concerns. So it just be what it be. I'll sacrifice a slot to get the quicker kill. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any problem with, like, optimizing or something like that, but like other people pointed out, I think you could use other units as well. Like, you could probably 3-turn this with a pretty decent, like, Ishtar. You could probably 3-turn it with a pretty decent Cuckoo. So it's like, I don't think it's that crazy of a node. The more time I spend is the less time I have playing Breath of the Wild, and that's fine. Like, I can give you the advice, Cody, and you are more than welcome to ignore it, right? I'm telling you how to make yourself more efficient in the event per point of AP, but you don't have to follow that. It is always you guys' prerogative, and it's something I always tell you guys too. It's like, I sometimes people get angry at me on stream, I've noticed, because they're like, why does Cad keep saying this? Like I'm not gonna do it, or like why does he keep harping on this? I'm like, because for every person that's heard me say it 10 times, there's a new person in chat that hasn't seen me say it before. So it's one of those deals where, like, I kind of have to, and I also feel obligated, at least to some degree, to try and, like, how do I put this? Like, basically to try and, like, put the right info out there, just in case it was, like, that piece of advice was also helpful to someone else, right? So it's like, I'll always tell you guys the proper way to do it, even if, like, I know, like, I've had people joke with me about stuff before, and I'll correct them, and they're like, I was joking, and I'm like, I know, but I have to kind of take it seriously. It's just the content creator in me. Pretty good card RNG for turn 1. Yeah. Going all in on Draco. Nice. Ooh. Oh, yes. I know what this is from. Muppet Treasure Island, baby. Can double X Foreigner 3 turn the 90++ node? I mean, within reason, yeah. You could probably make her do it. Your issue is going to be you're going to need another AoE. Like, it's funny because this node ends up being the perfect example of why Johanna's so good. And I think a lot of people tried to like skip Johanna because they didn't think that she had value. I get that people have higher priorities, so I'm not going to like mock that or anything like that. But I think a lot of people didn't think Johanna was worth. And this is a classic example of where Johanna absolutely is worth. And this is not the last time this happens. There are several times where it's like Johanna is just really good as again, like I like to call them tertiary support. So it's a third support where, unlike the other two supports, so what you don't see here is the Castoria, right? So unlike the Castoria and the Reigns, those two are buffing the party and charging the party. She is buffing the party and charging the party, albeit less, but she's also taking out an entire wave. So the way to look at this is, this unit provides 50% charge. This unit provides 50% charge. I mean, you could argue again, like, hey, party-wise, technically this unit provides 70%. Party-wise, technically this unit provides 110%, right? So let's give them their best possible scenario, because that's actually crap, because you have to include themselves in the calculation, right? Like, sorry, not sorry. Actually, I did include 30% there, so it's not that. It's no. Yeah, it is 60. Okay, yeah. I did do the math there, right? So either way, with 110 and 70, that's the best amount of charge that they can provide. Here's what Johanna provides. She provides the entire party 20% charge per turn. I'm not going to give her best case charge scenario, which would be including like a Castoria or a Reigns who's also receiving that buff in that calculation. I'm going to say only her and the other damage dealer get that. They get that twice. So she does 80% right there. Surely that's worse than Castoria, right? Well, yes, but no. Because the other deal here is she is taking 100% charge away from Squirtoria to a degree. Technically not, because we're actually 3-turning with Squirtoria. But the idea is, because she is handling one of the waves herself, she accounts for 100% charge herself. That is charge that you don't have to give other units in the party in a multiple damage dealer setup. That's why I look at this as like, hey, yeah, this unit is actually super effective. Even if at base point you go like, oh yeah, man, she's just giving everybody the 20% per turn. That's nothing. It can account for a lot. I can barely hear song request. Is that the same for anyone else? I don't know. How's chat doing on song request? It's been really quiet lately. There. I tweaked it some on that end, but if it gets too loud, just let me know. I'll tweak it again. I wanted Johanna, but completing the artillery collection is more important. Yeah, no, like I said, I think people have their reasons not to roll for her, but I do think there was also this like idea that maybe Johanna was not really that worth. And I'm like, no, she really is. Like, even some of my friends are like, Cad, what do I do? Like, should I roll for her? And I was like, I mean, ideal is get at least like NP2 of her. But I was like, getting that token copy is still really nice. Just for reasons. I'm late. I'm sorry, Cad. It's all good, Galactic. How you doing? Thank you for the 42. Or actually, first sub of the night. I think there's a lot of people late tonight. Or rather, there's just a lot of people that didn't show up to stream tonight. But again, it's not like there's a whole lot going on. Which actually works to my advantage since we're going to be recording tonight. So that's less people that will see it live and more people that will have to go to the YouTube side of things. So definitely nice. I'm fine with the volume. It's a bit quiet, but I just don't want it to overpower you. Yeah, no, and that's like, if chat's wanting like songs to be pretty loud, I'll never do that because it gets rough when the songs start overplaying my alerts. They start overplaying me, and then like people can't hear what's getting said. That's one of the most annoying things for people on stream. Because I'll mainly use your for support. Yeah. Short cake. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it, my dude. Thank you for the 18 for the year and a half. When life gives you lemons type of situation. So I heard this the other day. Chat, did you know that lemons don't naturally occur in nature? They're like actually a crossbreed that humanity created. So life doesn't give you lemons. We give ourselves lemons. That means when shit goes wrong in your life, it's your fault. Life gives us limes, yeah. What are we recording? So I have two choices. Option number 1 is the Mana Prism guide. Option number 2 is the event guide for the collab. I was talking with Avalon before stream. My intent was actually to do the like event guide tonight, but I think I'm gonna flip on that. I think you guys are gonna get the Mana Prism guide tonight. Life gave us citrus. True. Life did give us citrus. All right, chat. Let's do the CQ for NA. I have no idea what I'm doing here. You're just listing off all the state capitals. Okay, so what do we got here? Takasugi. Hector. Okuni. Sasaki Kojiro. Okay, so the gimmicks here are quite complicated to follow. At the beginning of the player's turn, Saitama Confectionery Sales competition activates, which will grant all players frontline servants with one of the buffs at random. Should a servant receive the Meiji Restoration Manju buff, that servant will lose stars and 10% in P charge. Will gain preferential treatment. So if servants have exactly 100% in P, they will not be able to use their Noble Phantasm due to loss. So that's a hint whenever you read something like that, chat. This means this is a drain style of CQ. This is your clue to, if you can, try to do it with a unit that's at least in P2. And the reason why is so that way you can go over 100% charge. Keep in mind, there is only one way to reach 99% charge in the entire game. It is not from getting there just from charging up to 99%. It is a proven fact that no matter what you have, if you have like a lot of people thought it was like, oh, if you have 99.5% or higher, it'll round up. This is not true. If you have any percent of 99, it will round up. The exceptions being after 99%. So like if we're talking like 199%, it will not round up. This works only for 99%. But with 99%, if you have even 99.01, it will round up. Okay? If you have 99 exactly, it will round up to 100%. The only way to get 99 is to be drained to 99. So if you have 109% charge and you get 10% drain, you'll end up at 99% and it will suck. So it just is the way that it is. Your friends list looks like about like it's mine from this last event. Yeah, kind of. Like it's just a case of I think a lot of people don't have CEs equipped, and I don't really blame them. Having preferential treatment status hurts you later on, especially if Takasugi has an active Ichirin Takusei skill, which activates upon death, instant killing all the servants with preferential treatment status. Yuck. So really, we kind of want to blitz this, but everyone's got at least 2 break bars. Sorry, at least 2 health bars. 1 break bar each. There are 2 though that have 2 break bars. Yeah, I was gonna say, I seem to remember the idea was that you leave Okuni alive, and that's how I did it on JP. So you can try to go for basically single target. Let's see, which one's Okuni? Okuni is the capable... Whoops. I think I just closed the tab. Yep. Okuni is the capable Minister of Finance. So... in reality here, it's probably a decent idea to try and go at this with something like a Berserker. I think one of the safest ways that you guys can do something like this, ironically enough, would be to pretty much run what I am already running here. Where am I? And just instead, we're going to swap for her. We are going to... let's see. Could I run a single target Berserker? And if so, who? So it's Chaldean boys, so technically a man would be your best option. So I think we'll actually run with Vlad here. Well, HP values aren't crazy. And let's see, do I see any like... Okay, so there could be like evasion. It looks like a couple of times. So I think what we'll do is we'll actually pull in our handy dandy sweet crystal. This one's got invincibility pierce. That'll be definitely nice for that sort of thing. And I am probably going to flip some of my craft essences around here. We're going to go with Prismacosmos there. I'm actually going to sub the reins for my own Castoria here in the back line. And that'll give me double Castoria if anything else decides to go awry. We'll flip-flop that. And we're just going to go single target on this. It'll take us a little bit longer, but should be a little bit better as a result. Now, you could probably run whatever plug suit you want if you wanted to do something like this, or you could just try to like hunker down and take something like Atlas Academy and just try to like turtle it. But the ideal is, again, going to be trying to just take out key units and leave Okuni alive. You could also take a unit that is somehow, say, effective to the main units and instead try to focus on, like, you know, like dealing neutral damage or even resistant damage to Okuni. Now, the other interesting thing to denote here when we're looking at this is that this has a AoE NP. This and this are both single target, so technically one of them's a little bit more threatening than the others, but the problem that we're going to have right now is we are taunted. So we're just going to have to do what we're going to do and pray for the best. Okay, got the guts and the MP gain. I'm gonna save his stuff there. We're gonna pop both of those. We're actually going to weave in the Castoria Arts card there because this Castoria doesn't have Prisma Cosmos equipped, so she's going to need a little bit of help getting to her NP. You can see, easily broke right through the dude's gauge there. And thankfully, our squishy Mr. Vlad here is protected at least for one turn here while everybody tries to get to their NP. Oh, looks like we got a nasty stun, so that's going to complicate things, kind of. Not really. Gonna go ahead and invul and just keep Vlad protected yet another turn. And we're just gonna try to let him loop. I was gonna say OG plug is definitely nice because you get the stun off of that, so that can also be a really, really good one to take. I just figured it's like I'm probably not gonna need it. Now, do they give anything when they die? And go ahead, pop that. Actually, hold on. What is his overcharge? Is it just stars? Yeah, so I don't care too much about the stars. Doesn't really matter what we set it in at that point. We're just basically going to go ahead and fire this. If he doesn't kill, he doesn't kill. That'd be unfortunate, but the taunt's going to wear off anyways. So I'm not super concerned with that. There we go. Dead, and now we've lost one of them. And this also basically is now the start of our Solemn Defense stacking composition here. This is basically the invincible or invulnerable comp, depending on what you've heard about it. And it's really, really nice. Really good solution to multiple unit situations like this where you're not sure about the abilities, you're not sure what kind of charge is going to be going on and what they might be doing. They actually stun Vlad here. Takasugi comes out. So this is kind of a garbage turn for me. The buffs have all worn off. We're protected for now, but we're kind of just going to have to try to make the most of the charge situation as we can here. Takasugi's also AoE. Honestly, he is probably the bigger threat compared to Hector. Hector's got a 4 charge gauge compared to Takasugi having 3. So if anything, I'm actually heavily incentivized to try to murder the crap out of Takasugi here. But let me see again, because yep. All right, so Takasugi got that. We are going to drain him again in an effort to just keep preventing his overall output there. He's got a ton of the defense this turn. Vlad's got his MP. I've got about 2 turns on Castoria stuff, but we really need Castoria to have an NP ready next turn if possible. Again, she doesn't have Prisma Cosmos, so she's not going to get the 10% charge per turn. So instead of doing a full Vlad chain like I would like, I am pretty much going to do one of these. So we're going to put Vlad's card third to get him the best NP gain that we possibly can off of it. But this is sort of a messy one as we kind of end up staggered a little bit here. She easily gets enough charge. Now the question will be if they hit Lady Avalon enough to get her some. Ooh, that is spicy. That is really spicy. So everybody is charmed. And everybody isn't protected. In fact, Vlad's guts also expired that turn. This is a nasty one. So you have a couple of choices at this point. You could try to like plug suit and protect the party. but then I'm in a little bit of a tough spot. I think the better play right now, and this is definitely something you guys can do in CQs, just play the hand, see how it goes. If it goes bad, if Vlad dies, you can scuff and try to come back. Okay, everybody's back and active yet again. Not a whole lot that could be done here. The real problem would technically be if anybody gets overlapped. We should be okay. Castoria has her overcharge. This means we're going to get at least 3 stacks of solemn defense by doing it this way. And honestly, I think just for protective purposes, since Takasugi's going to have another MP ready real fast here on this next turn, we're going to take the Castoria arts card here. Because unfortunately, if they hyperfixate on somebody, we could be dead a little bit. Okay, we at least got cleansed of the attack down. Definitely nice. But ironically enough, it looks like maybe we shouldn't have drained Takasugi because he would have gotten his MP this turn as well. Which then would have absolutely assured that pretty much no one would die. Now, Takasugi gets to hit someone. And hopefully he does not hit the same person that was also hit. Okay. He didn't. So everybody still has a stack of solemn defense. The problem is, I believe Takasugi moves last here? Or no, actually, yeah, Izuma went last there, so he should move first, depending on how they did it there. Gonna kind of pre-pop this stuff, get it back up, get it online. Help protect. See how this one goes. Got a ton of charge and stars there for potential crits. We're actually going to do it like that. We're going to try to balance the charge as much as we can. Really not getting Vlad cards. I think he got them on the turn he was stunned was the issue. Okay, that was spicy, so they did move first. But either way, everybody still has a stack of solemn defense. So we should be fine. CQ's been treating me well so far. It's been nice to me. It could have definitely been a whole lot worse. I'm not getting a whole lot of offense out of it right now here. This is definitely not a min turn. And anytime you go for the invincible comp, this sort of thing won't be. Okay, we do get some additional firepower there with the arts up. I think this is a turn in which everybody's kind of safe for right now. I don't think anybody's really in danger of death. Let me just double check here to make sure Takasugi isn't gonna immediately like charge or something on getting his bar broken. He does. He increases his MP charge to the maximum. That little bastard. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and go right back into the invincible comp again because that's gonna be a problem. Looks like he also gives himself guts for 3 times, but it's just 1 HP. I think I took like 6 hours to get a 5-turn clear. Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, I don't try to min turn most of these. Sometimes it's fun too. I like it when the min turn's like a 2 or a 3 turn, but when the min turn starts getting up there in terms of like how many turns it involves, it starts to be a lot more moving parts. It starts to be a lot more RNG. It starts to take a lot more time. Exactly like that. So I definitely kudos to your patience, but that's not something I want to do. Well, it's definitely awesome to see some of that stuff. Okay, so they all have invincibility for this turn as well, looks like. So Vlad's going to be able to hit them, but nobody else. Oh, that's spicy, but that's actually good. He killed the one person I have a duplicate of. So at that point, I don't care. Let him do it. Vlad, your time is now. Your people need you. You must go. We pop the NP gain there. And basically, we're just gonna kind of do that right there. Get the Castoria Arts card, but otherwise let Vlad go to town here. And this should pop his first guts. We should get rid of 2 of the 3 guts. Oh no, sorry. 1 of the 3 because of the invuln. No, wait, I did say it right. Yeah, 2 of the guts. My brain was sitting there thinking Castoria card, but I literally said it wrong when I was thinking that. Okay, so how many do we have? We have 1 guts left. Kind of spicy, but let's do it this way. So that should kill Takasugi. Gets everybody else to their NP. And then it breaks Hector's bar. So boom, there we go. Nice, easy, under control. It's funny how we took the safer route and it still ended up being a little bit of a spicier CQ in that regard, right? Like, mostly because Takasugi did his whole full charge there, but also even before that, the party-wide charm on the wrong turn was definitely a little bit spicy, and then they were just ever so slightly off from having their NPs at the exact same time. Again, I'm just going to go ahead, use the drain there. Go ahead, pop that, get everybody to their stuff yet again, and just fire off 1 more round of this. And pretty much from here, we'll be able to go a lot more offensive. Because now we've gotten rid of the party-wide threat, so it's really only an issue with Okuni being the last one left, and she should be pretty easy to break down. Does Oberon disrupt Lady Avalon? You mean like his passive? No. Specifically doesn't apply to her, which is weird. It is just Merlin himself. I say go more offensive, but what I guess I meant to say there was wait for some card RNG to get Vlad back to his NP again. Oh man, he almost bar popped with that. Maybe to my benefit to try and bar pop her here, but hold on, what is her bar pop? Increase the MP charge of all allies by 2. I see. It's one of those, is it? Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to matter. She's not going to be able to deal damage to me right now, and Lady Avalon's going to get to the NP naturally. So we'll just card pop her there and just NP her on the next turn. I do love Okuni's NP. It's always been a beautiful one. Got that Kabuki theater vibe. All right. And then 1 more for the send-off. Avalon can salute her as she goes. And I still has to wait for the Merlin buff. Yeah, the 10% charge is like... God, it was so unnecessary, but I'll definitely take it. It is just such a nice upgrade for him. Okay, so that's NACQ down. Can't believe Cad would do this to Okuni on Avalon's birthday. That's true. Yes, I forgot. All around, a little bit spicy because of all the moving parts. And, like, I had the guide up on the side, but I didn't even read half of the stuff that the guide said. I basically read their, like, tip section there, remembered what this fight was from doing it on JP, and then kind of went back in, and all I looked at was, I think, 2 of the break bar effects. And so from there, I just pretty much operated entirely based off of how the CQ was reacting to me. So, okay, so that's NA CQ. Let's go attempt to do JP's. I have not seen this one yet. I feel like someone told me this one was easy. But I feel like people say that about everyone. Okay, so we've got a 3-wave battle, it looks like. First one's 2 enemies, then 6, then 1. And it's David is our end enemy. Got some hefty HP values there. The chat, just from looking at this, it's hard to tell. Is it 2 sets of 3 in the second wave, or is it 6 at once? Six at once? Damn. Okay, that I could do. Yeah, depending on what the break bar effect is for David, that might not be bad at all. First wave, you want to crit Old Man Lee 3 times? Okay, so there's more to this than meets the eye. It's not just I can walk in and try to 4-turn it. Because that's definitely something I could do. Don't want to kill Bakin? The writer after a sleepless night? Yeah. Wait. What do you mean by don't want to kill Bakin, though? Because, like, I assume you have to kill her to move on. Crit Lee and she leaves. Okay. Yeah, the problem is finding an AoE that's going to be able to deal enough damage and also still like take out David. So how do I want to set this up? Who do I want to use? Okay, those aren't too much though. Really interesting. David is Sky, but he's not divine. I'm surprised by that. Like, that is to say, I'm surprised he's classified as Sky and not as Earth. Seal? The problem is a 6 enemy wave with Seal. Like, it's not that Seal can't take out units, it's the 6 enemy wave is going to be more of a problem for Seal than anything else. Hey, Kamo, how's it going? Got to defeat Carmilla on wave 2. Oh, is she the only one you have to defeat? You don't have to kill the wolves. It's just making me think because I'm not sure how exactly I wish to do this. Most of the stuff is Earth trait. Except David. So, Lee is man. Carmilla and her entire wave is basically Earth. And then David is Sky. So they actually picked all three, which is kind of dickish of them. I'm just trying to debate like what DPS I want to use for this. And it's like I actually have a near perfect scenario. I don't think I can on the 6 enemy wave. I don't think I can set that up. Like if I were to do something like a single target, like Seal or something, I don't think I can set it up to kill the 3 enemies that need to be killed. Because at least the way that this is appearing, right? You've got her in that slot and the luggage there. So if I kill the lead one, it's going to go to the next one, but you can't jump here. If I kill here, then it's going to maybe come here, but I'm not sure it does that always. I think sometimes it stays on the line that it's on. So predicting that sort of thing is probably the more annoying thing about that for me, because I don't exactly remember how it rotates in a 6 enemy wave. Book should be in the back line. Arcana, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Also, Nero fan, thank you for the follow earlier. It's not set up like this to front 3 of the wolves. So then it should stay in line. If these 3 are all in, I should be able to go bonk, bonk, bonk. Well, it'd have to start here. I guess it wouldn't have to, but what I'd probably have to do is I'd probably have to like do Buster, NP, Buster Extra. Which maybe can do enough. I'm not sure if it would. And then that's still going to be spicy because right here, I logically need to card lock. Well, not card lock, but that's what I'm looking for. Well, I guess I could card lock. That is a potential solution. But I would logically need to at least shuffle the deck, 2 Seals cards, 2 Murder Hobo him, and specifically not her. I mean, I could get like a lucky draw, but can I spoil the gimmicks? Yeah, sure. That's fine. Because like I'd have to, at this point, I'd have to go to like App Media or something to see it. But chat was telling me I only need to kill Lee, Carmilla, the books, and I assume David. But I don't know what David's gimmick is or what his break bar does. Because fandom is not updated. First wave just crit 3 times without killing me. Okay, so a star bomb then should help it. So then what's the gimmick on wave 2? Is it just Carmilla and the books? Or is there another one to like make them go away? Second waves, you have to use 3 skills. So if I use 3 skills, it just goes away. Like everything in the second wave. David has card type NP crit gimmick. David gets damage resistance. Okay. Does anyone know what his break bar effect is? Like, is it a full charge? No full charge? Sweet. Use 3 skills then kill. Yeah. That I get. Okay, so then my only question then is basically David. So when you're saying David has a type NP crit gimmick, you're saying like there's a gimmick where he'll put something up and you have to crit that turn, or he'll put something up and you have to use this card that turn. Okay. I mean, fuck it. Let's build something. Let's go in and let's try it. I think Seal is actually a really good choice for something like this, just due to the carding. What am I doing? I need Moon Cancer. This is weird because David could dodge her. Well, wait, hold on. Doesn't Seal have sure hit? Am I imagining that? She does on her NP. Okay. We might be able to make something work with this. I may not need to do the Invuln Pierce C. Da, 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 da. Oh no, I need one of them to be the Star Bomb for turn 1. Oh crap, where's my Star Bomb C's? There it is. Okay, so that'll get me some Star Bomb. I love that Honey Lemon Soda ending song. Is Honey Lemon Soda actually good? I've not really heard anyone talk about it. So I have a couple choices here. I think I want to go Bunny for the card shuffle on David. But maybe not. Then 1.1 million? I show him having 311 and then 717 according to fandom, but imagine that cat going for bunny, totally uncalled for. Listen, chat. Of course I am. Actually, do I still have reburn command codes equipped? Nope. I'm not going to bother to change it. I'm too lazy. He gets a boost regarding his HP. Okay. Well, that's going to be spicy then, but we'll still try for it. And worst case scenario, I'm definitely replacing you. Let's put Merlin back here. And then hopefully that'll work. I do think as well, though, I'm going to go with OG Mystic Code for this. Just in case I need a stun. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, this one's weird. I'm actually surprised like fandom doesn't have anything written up for this. But I think it, like, the thing I have noticed lately is fandom is trying to do like some write-ups for like tips and stuff, which is definitely nice. I like that. I think that's something that is definitely helpful to a lot of people, especially if they have a difficult time trying to solve CQs. Me, if you give me the gimmicks, I can read through them and I can figure them out. But even I will still prefer to read a TLDR over reading every single mechanic. So it's definitely a thing. All right, 3 guaranteed crits right there. I probably should have activated Seal's skill, but whatever. Excellent. All right, looks like I get NP gain from that. God, which one is her? Okay, it's like, it's so difficult. Does it just need to be exactly 3 skills? Gonna basically keep some in the tank. All right. Overkill. At least you got the charge off of that, but please tell me everything goes away. All right, sweet, it did. I was gonna say, I was like, please no. Okay, so he does get damage resist. He also gets HP up. Wait, hold on. Before we do that, can we tell? It doesn't look like he has a mechanic right now. Unless this is the mechanic, but I can't read Japanese enough to tell what this is. other than damage resistance, which I know the symbol for. So at that point, I'm just going to kind of play it and see how it goes. Not yet? Okay. You know what? Let's not touch Bunny yet. Let's just go straight for Merlin. Get that extra little spicy bit of charge there. Because I think my seal should be able to kind of handle this. I'm trying to like sit on some of my skills to bake them in later so that I have a little bit more capability. Oh wow, he does have good damage resistance. Okay, so then based off that, let's actually rewind that. And let's attempt... Do I want... I could shuffle the cards here, but I think if I shuffle the cards, then there's no way that I handle this on the final break bar quickly. So I think it's better to instead give the Merlin buff, and then that should give me enough firepower to break through, hopefully. Because I should get more offense on the NP, and then I should get more on the Buster crit. Let's see. Yeah. Boom, there we go. Merlin Buster crits with that 100% crit damage. So nice. AK, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Now, the only problem is, oh my god. What? Oh, so he got an extra damage resistance for that? Oh, wow. That's something. I think we play for the one shot. I don't think I will, but we're gonna try our damnedest. Actually, what I should have done, I probably should have card shuffled with Bunny first, and then changed to all seal cards, and then I would have had the 50% extra crit damage from her. Oh no! What is that? What is that? Bro. Oh my god. Okay. Guess I'll die then. Oh, and then David gets invuln, so I probably should have taken an invuln Pierce C. Okay, so it's a one-turn invuln. I cannot read Japanese chat, so I have no idea what like the mechanic is trying to tell me to do, because they didn't use symbols that allow me to discern it, and that's a large damage resistance. Yes, it is. And the fact that Merlin was the one that died is pretty spicy there too. Gonna stun him. Buy myself that extra turn. Either NP or crit, not sure which. The gimmick is you can't get hit with crit or NP. Oh, really? So it's not I need to do it, it's they can't hit me. Interesting. Every time you do it, it weakens his defense. So that's Buster. So I need to hit him with a Buster card. Yeah, see, like that one I can read. I'm gonna do that, but I'm pretty sure he has a sure hit. I wonder if the NP itself counts. I won't count on it. I'll throw in Bunny's Buster card just to make sure. Also, this mother... He gave himself invuln again. I just realized that. Did that get rid of the invuln? No. So he just spammed his invuln, is all he did. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, for a fight that was going so easy, this is going so wrong so quickly. So it's Buster again. So it looks like he has... Wait, that deactivated one of them. My god, he is just slaughtering. So can you deactivate both of these at the same time? Because they look like they're the exact same kanji-wise, but the descriptions are different. And that's Critter NP again, I think. Pray to God. I don't see how I'm supposed to deal damage to him. Like, he is just spamming his invuln. I wish somebody had said something to me about that. That, like, hey, yeah, you should totally take an invuln Pierce C. Since I literally contemplated it. Can I give info from App Media? Go for it. Quick. Yeah, he's ball busting me here because he's literally got the invuln on the exact same turn. He's gonna MP, he's gonna slaughter someone. Let's taunt him. Try to keep Mash alive. Arts. Wow, a singular arts card. He's actually vulnerable this turn. I think I try to go for it here. It's just, it's not a good, a good scheme. Cancel it? Yeah, I think my biggest issue is the invincibility. Like, he just keeps spamming it. So is it every single turn he gets it? Okay, Buster. If you don't do the right action, he gives himself to it. Well, wait, though, because that's weird, because it felt like several of the times I did do it, but maybe that was the turn that I was supposed to crit and I didn't crit. I don't know. So it's just arts. I think we're just going to keep trying to fire the NP as many times as I can, because I am going to get to a point where it's going to get spicy. Like, he is going to be able to deal enough damage to Seal to kill her. So I need to, like, just keep firing the NP as much as the game will let me. Spicy. All right, what is that one? That one I have not seen yet. That's crit. So the other one was NP. No wonder I kept failing. Of course, I just don't really have stars this turn either. This is a risk. No, it still split the stars. Man. Oh, thank God it crit. It's not gonna matter though. He's gonna kill me with the NP here. He didn't. All right, what's he got now? That's crit again. Over the mighty chain. Okay. He's eventually getting one of us. That's the problem. Like, he hits hard. Is it the first card that hits him has to do it, otherwise it triggers invuln? No, I think it's just you have to clear the condition. The reason I want it to be the first card, though, is because it deactivates. So if I leave it till the third card, all of my damage from the first two cards is crap. So you kind of want it to be the first one. And there goes Seal. That's not good. I was going to say, Bunny's not going to last much longer than Seal would. Bunny's going to be doing way less than Seal was, is the problem. Spicy man. And one turn on the stun. Well, chat, I'm not watching my wife die. That's a GG go next, and we are gonna try that again. Honestly, I think that comp can work. I think I messed up in a couple of ways. So for starters, where is it? I'm blind. Okay, there it is. I definitely want stars per turn. 2, I really don't want Merlin immediately dying for no freaking reason. And honestly, I'm probably going to start this man out with a K-scope just to make sure that he immediately gets that NP off. Then yeah, I think it's got to be an invuln and Pierce C. This one's 100% charge. I could go for something that's 0%, but I think this one's going to achieve the best results. All right, let's try that again. You did your best? Yeah, I wanted to feel it out because it really was like messy there. Say they're not on the seal cards like I would prefer, but it will work. All right, so there you go. He gets crit. He almost dies from that, which is great. Carmilla just needs to die. I wonder if I full send this. Could I get away with this? Gonna use my Tama Lancer. Yeah, I definitely think it would help a little bit more if I were using an actual effective unit. Honestly, Shisho might not be a bad choice either because of her carding buff and the fact that you'll stun him. And since he's not divine, you can't stun with Enkidu. So he has no mechanic here. And I know he hits like a Mack truck. Problem is, I don't have the cards this time around. So I don't have a Buster card. Let's waste the charge and double dip. Could be wasting a ton here. Not really worth. I'm gonna hold the Star Bomb in reserve from Koyan for next turn. Just to make sure we can pop through that. We get the bar broken. Oh, is that the names of each enemy in each CQ? I mean, I can't read it, so. I mean, I guess he's strict hotel owner is what fandom tells me, but he definitely seems strict. Now we get the Merlin NP off. This should give everybody charge and healing. We're going to need it because, dear Lord, David hits hard. I'm pretty sure he's still going to slaughter the other two. God, this is so little damage. So he hit me with the arts card again, and I don't have an arts card. Wow. Wow. That's what I feared. Well, I do have one potential play here. And that's to simply generate as much stars as possible and drain him. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Cody not drain? Cody charges us, doesn't she? Okay, she does drain. Right. I'm not imagining things. I was like, wait, no, she charges the party. She doesn't drain. No, she does both. Yeah, please don't hit seal. Okay, good. He missed the crit. All right, so we got quick. We're not dealing damage to him this turn, which is unfortunate. Mighty chain it up. Could have gone after an arch chain there with Merlin. That would have really helped, but nope. Got to prioritize just getting all of that off. Whoa! No, sir. No, sir. You do not get to, through all of that damage, or sorry, through all of that mitigation, deal 20k. Nah. Nah, you can fuck right the hell off with that. God damn, David. Okay, so I probably need to stun him is the issue there. Get rid of his stupid status. Because he's in his like hyper murder mode while he has that. Is there a video explaining how to do advanced quest? What do you mean? Like explaining the general concept behind advanced quests? Or what? How to beat them? I mean, like, I just put out a video dealing with all the advanced quests from sections 11 through 14. Especially for free-to-play Dolphin. I mean, free-to-play Dolphin shouldn't technically matter because it's mostly just about the gimmick. I highly advise going and checking out Fandom. Or if you can find it on App Media. But each of the advanced quests on that should give you at least a, like, TLDR for the most part about how they work. And so that can give you an idea of like what to do in order to counteract it. Okay, so what's he got now? That is NP. Perfect. Fortunately, I actually probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Most are loopable, yeah. Some of them have a gimmick. They're very gimmicky fights. There she goes. God, he hits so freaking hard. Arts now. Sure, don't mind if I do. Him hitting Bunny there is actually good. Alright, so now he has... That's crit? I could probably manage that. With the current deck. So the Buster, ironically enough, has the highest chance. So I'm going to invert that in order of crit potential. There you go. We got it on the first one. It sucks, though, because like the Buster card's the one that would have hit the hardest. That was me playing it safe. Okay, now it's quick. Gonna take the Buster card there. Kaiotsu, thank you for the 17. Going better than last run, at least. Not by much, but yes. It's just David's lethality is the real issue here. Like, he's eventually gonna kill Merlin. If not everyone else. That is NP again. I'm gonna debate him. Fortunately, that's gonna somehow improve Seal's cards? What? Okay. Not complaining. We're gonna put Bunny's NP first and use that as a means by which to... Actually, I'm gonna use the Bunny Buster card there too. Use that as a means to make Seal's NP hit harder, because the special defense will drop. So like this MP is not going to do jack shit for damage, but Seals will hit harder thanks to this. The only problem is going to be if David does it again. That could be an issue. Hopefully it's an actual rotation and not he can do it multiple times in a row. But I feel like he already has done it multiple times in a row, so I may have just misplayed. Okay, he did arts. Thank God. We do actually have an arts card. I think it's actually safe to use this. Merlin kind of donezo, so we're just going to pop the invuln here anyways. Because he's not living very long otherwise. Wait. Do it like that. Now he's got NP. So send it. Hopefully this kills. It might not. Randomly given each turn. Yeah, it seems like it. Ugh. Still did okay damage. Come on, crit. It's still not going to be enough. We'll card him out. That would have been a much better finish, though. Oh my god. Dick Wizard hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Okay, so this one is arts yet again. Fuck it, full send. Maybe we get the bunny NP? It will kill. How appropriate Bunny gets to kill him, and Merlin actually lived. He actually lived. I cannot believe that. So, Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one. It's not very difficult. That's one of those fights where when you're doing it on JP and you don't speak a lick of Japanese, that's the language barrier problem. So thank you, those of you in chat who helped me, because without knowing what those effects were, that would have been a long thing of just, hey, either I'm going to have to, like, you know, GG go next and figure out, like, what the actual fight mechanics were and do this another day, or me sitting there and trial and erroring it, which would not have been good. Power of Google translating snips of stream. Yes. Yes, there you go. So that was both CQs on NA and JP. So honestly, to a degree, that one was easier than the NA one. But the language barrier made it a little bit more difficult. Okay, chat, let's do some recording. Sweet. Thank you, Avalon. A couple things I gotta prep for this. Does it actually say everything? Daily event quest, burning 3 stars, servants and craft essences, and experience cards. Status up cards. Is that command codes? Oh god, that's foes. Oh god. Oh. Ooh, Avalon. Real quick, can you tell me on your spreadsheet, is there any craft essence you put in there that still has a hard rare prism cost? Like, I feel like all of the remembrance ones shouldn't. On an air JP. Because I feel like what would be old like Mana Prism shop Cs that have retired and gone into the Rare Prism shop. I think those still have a Rare Prism cost. Farmer section are all the free ones upon story completion. So these no longer cost a rare prism, assuming that you have completed the conditions. If you have spent the rare prism, it'll be refunded to you. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. So only the newest stuff hasn't been. Okay. Oh my god. Haven't returned yet. Yeah. No, that's why I was trying to see. Wait, why did song request stop? There we go. Hey, the Pepe one came back. I feel like I remember that. Okay, that's what I was looking for. It's right there. So this would have been September of last year for us. A 3 to 5. I can't believe I have to go reference my own new player guide just to get this info. That's not where I remember it? God, I just going through the new player guide again. It's just always so much work went into this. Is it under this? Come on, people. What did you do with it? My source is myself. Yeah, no, it's funny. I saw a YouTube short of that the other day where it was like someone going up to Neil deGrasse Tyson and asking him a question about something like, what's the source for that? And he's like, my brain. Because it's like, there's a point where it's like, yeah, how do you source something when you are the source, right? So they don't have it under the login rewards. What did they do with this? Is it under the DaVinci Workshop page? Yeah, I mean, technically this is here. I'm not gonna touch on costumes, chat. I'm gonna briefly mention them, but I do want to say this. Before we begin recording this. Yeah. If you're somebody that has been in this community a long time, and you're somebody that has been on fandom a long time, you should know. Originally, most of this stuff was not detailed here. Nor was it detailed this cleanly or this structuredly. And it's really interesting that that ends up being the case. Because this is now structured like my new player guide. And it did not used to look this way. So when I see this, I start to be like, you know what? I know nobody ever wants to give me credit for my new player guide. No, like, I know all the Reddit people hate it. I know all the Twitter people hate it. I know nobody wants to, like, go and read it because it's a huge document. But if it makes a change for good, if it affects the wikis and the information sources that people do go to and makes them change because they feel threatened by it, I did a good job then. That's the way I choose to look at it. So it's like it finally kicked their ass and made them update this entire section. What's really funny, I can't find. So wait. It should be under this section. What did they do with it? What did they... Did they get rid of it? This is kind of important to know. Oh my god. I think I have to go back to that anniversary. I think that's the only way I find it. I think that's the only place it exists. Okay. Let's go see. This is 2020's Annie. So it's listed here now, but it's not listed under the actual Mana Prism shop guidelines. The reason this is important, chat, is, again, because this is a source. So when you come to this section, it says the primary ways to obtain them are daily event quests. This is categorically wrong. This is actually incorrect, because it's not the way that you obtain them anymore. Because what that section is, and I see what happened somebody did a fucky wucky and they linked to the wrong thing. Okay? Chat, behold, this is your daily quest section now. This is what they're calling that. It's actually called Chaldea Gate, but it is what it is, right? So it used to be that you would get mana prisms from doing these. You don't get them anymore. And the reason why is because people realize that, like, some people are just coming in here and doing the 10 AP one in order to get the mana prisms. So they, like, removed that from this, okay? The reason that this is wrong is because when you go click on this section, you can see this is the Chaldea Gate, and this is not how you get mana prisms anymore. It's how you used to. It's not how you get it anymore. So it's really funny that, like, it doesn't include the actual dailies here. So I have to sauce myself / sauce them because they didn't include this anywhere under mana prisms or in any of their things. I don't get it, but it is what it is. It's just such a stupid fucking thing. So I guess in a weird way, fandom tried to kind of one-up me and update a bunch of their stuff, which is fine. Like I said, like to a degree, it's like, I get it, I don't care, but it's actually going to come back around to kick them in the ass because they did this, because they left this in here. I now have to point out that this is incorrect info and that this is not the source of mana prisms, unless you consider it to be a source of mana prisms from the experience cards, which is what it is. Daily can be done on any 3 AP node anyways, no? Right, which is exactly why this is wrong. Because it doesn't have to be these. It's anything. So telling people you have to go do daily event quests to get it is incorrect. Because they detached that from it, basically. And also, interesting fact, it does not have to be an AP spending node. You can get them from 0 AP sometimes as well. It depends on, like, what structure and style of thing it is. So, like, there's certain ones in there's certain, like, 0 AP things in the main interlude for god damn it, what blah, 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 Oku. There's certain 0 AP ones in Oku that will give you credit for having completed a daily quest. So anything else I need to include in this? Anything else I'm forgetting, chat? Check me on this. Like, is there something we're not considering? Because I'm about to go through everything. And I think I will use this page for them, at least to some degree, because it does have some helpful stuff that I don't fucking care to detail. But let's go ahead and begin. I want to start on this page. Oh, Avalon, one other thing. Can you tell me when they started giving us the recollections? Like, when was the first batch given to us? I know it's here, but is that New Year? No, sorry, that's 8th Annie. Yeah. I'm reading the pixel. Right, that's what I was just trying to figure out, is like the exact time. So, shit, is that this year already on an A? I didn't think this has been out for 2 years already. And the reason why, chat, is I think I've only bought in Golden Sumo. I think that's the only one of these that I've bought out of the entire list of them. I've not partaken of this system nearly as much as I should have. It's a good system. It's great. I have been lazy with it. And a lot of it's because, like, this starts to add up real fast. Yeah, so I'm trying to think about, like, what's the actual, like, daily amount of mana prisms you'll normally get. It's basically 30, right? So 30 times 30 days is basically 900. You get 900 a month. Wait, then how much do you get for burning? Burning 3 stars? It's 1, right? Yeah, it's 1 mana prism per. One for all of them? Oh, well, 1 for all of them north of this. I don't think you get any for these. Yeah. Okay. Because, like, we normally get, like, 1 event a month. That it means on average you make maybe, like, 1,000 if you burn the silvers. Oh. That's it. That's what was the missing piece. The missing piece was the change where they made it so that we can roll mana prisms now. Do you remember when that was, Avalon? That 9th Annie? Was it also Annie 8? Was it? Someone go check Annie 8 for me. Wait, am I blind? That literally is it. It doesn't look like it, but it is it. Oh, that's not it. That's it. Well, it's definitely not 10th Annie. I don't think it was 9th. I think you guys are right. I think it's 8th. Yeah, which this also doesn't include. So they need to update this page. Eighth Annie campaign 7. Oh my god. Where was it? So this is interesting because I don't know if there's a cap to mana prisms. I've never seen anyone at the cap, if there is one. And I'm not going to say that like it could be like 999,999. Like that could be it, right? That is a number that you can hit. It's insane, but that is a number that you can hit. But I don't think any player has reasonably hit it, right? Like I have a couple 100,000 myself, and I don't see myself hitting it anytime soon. So like I've seen people with like 700,000 mana prisms. I've seen a couple of 600. I've seen a couple of 500. Like I don't think I've ever seen anybody like north of that. Because I think like most people get to a point where it's like they just don't care. Basically 50 for a multi. Yeah, that's I knew there was something else big that I was forgetting. And I was like, hold on. I was like, I need to include this. All right, this is going to be a difficult one for me to record, so bear with me, chat. Now I want to know what the cap is, right? Like, the fact that they, like, I'm pretty sure they took that from the slide, if I remember correctly, so, like, that's not them making that up. That's something that the devs said, so I assume that means there is a cap. But I don't know that anyone's actually hit it. Plus, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you hit the cap, I don't think you care, right? Like, you have so many mana prisms, you're just like, whatever. Hey guys, my name's Kadroth, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the Mana Prism shop. Now, Mana Prisms have for a long time been a very interesting sort of currency that the game has. You get them from doing just about everything in the game, but also not enough things. In this guide, I'm going to go over multiple facets of the Da Vinci shop, the craft essences within, all of the uses for your mana prisms, and kind of give you guys some advice about how you guys can use them effectively and efficiently. Because you're going to need to know that, because you're not going to get enough mana prisms traditionally. All right, so to begin with, what is a mana prism? So a mana prism is basically, as we already mentioned, a currency that you guys are going to get from various things that you do in the game. Right here on Fandom, you guys can see they do list numerous ways of getting them. The daily event quests is actually incorrect. That is the way that used to be. You do not get them from daily event quests anymore. What you get them from now is completing any daily quest. So they're no longer tethered to the Chaldea event page, the place that you guys will go to do like your QP and your Ember gathering and stuff. That's the way it used to be, but they changed that a long time ago, and it's not been that way ever since. Usually people will also tell you a pretty decent source of them is actually burning your 3-star experience cards. You guys will actually get 1 mana prism for each experience card that you burn, north of the 1 and 2 star variety. So that is to say, your 3, 4, and 5 star varieties will each give you 1 mana prism each for burning them. This is why people generally don't advise you to burn 4 and 5 star embers. Instead, they tell you to burn the Blazes of Wisdom, the 3-star variant, because just due to, in terms of strict efficiency there, they give about 10,000 experience per and 1 mana prism, as opposed to, say, a 4-star ember, which is going to give you about 30,000 experience and still 1 mana prism. So it's way more experience, still not that good of a reward for mana prisms. So the one that people usually tell you to burn is the 3-star ones, and you guys will get those typically from event shops and things like that. So if you find that you've completed most of your other goals in an event shop, it can be a good thing to pick those up, get them, acquire them, and then burn them if you have no other real use for them. From there, Obviously, you guys can get them from burning other things like servants and craft essences. Servants are fine once you've NP 5-day servant, but otherwise I don't really recommend burning servants early. And craft essences, I don't ever recommend burning craft essences, even the 1 and 2 star ones. And the reason why is because you can make craft essence bombs out of those and basically use them as fodder material to level up a very awesome way of leveling up your craft essences that you actually want to level. So if you guys ever need more information on that, please go check out my craft essence bomb video. I go through the steps of how to do it and kind of the logic on why it works. And again, you guys will definitely help yourself out on that end, as you'll spend way less QP doing it the more efficient way. So again, don't burn your craft essences. Instead, combine them and feed them to other craft essences. Experience cards, like we already mentioned, the 3-star variant is the good one to burn. 1 and 2 star, I mean, you can burn them if you want, but you're not getting much out of it. And obviously, your 4 and 5 star, you don't want to burn because you're getting a whole lot of benefit out of those. The status up cards here listed are your foes. I also will tell you, don't burn any foes until you have foed all of your units. That may sound like a really crazy goal to try to achieve. It is actually doable even for a free-to-play player. It is something that will take quite a bit of time, quite a bit of FP rolling over time, but even the 1 and 2 star foes can actually be really good to utilize on your account because there's no other way to farm foes manually. So you're just going to have to roll basically in order to get more or get them given to you from various other campaigns. So again, my advice, don't burn those either unless you're just completely done with them. So that then kind of restricts the actual resources for how you can get mana prisms. Thankfully, there are a couple other ways to do it. You guys can see they do occasionally get rewarded from events and campaigns as well as login rewards down here. But probably the biggest way that I think most people are going to get them over time is, as we mentioned, from doing those daily quests. It has kind of been a thing traditionally where we basically end up getting the improvement to this, and it's something that we have definitely cherished over time here, because mana prisms, especially if you were somebody that didn't go hard into, say, lottos for a long period in time, were difficult to kind of get your hands on because of this. So now whenever you guys complete any quest in the game, for the first 3 times each day, you will get 10 mana prisms for each of those, which means you get 30 mana prisms a day as long as you do your 3 quote daily quests. Remember, those quests can be anything. It can be an event quest, can be story, it does not matter, it just has to be 3 quests. You're going to get 30 mana prisms a day. We can kind of assume you're going to get about 30 days in a month, which means you're going to get about 900 mana prisms if you guys play and do your 3 runs every day. So that's going to be the amount that you'll get per month. And the reason that we need to know that is going to be a little bit more important coming up here, but just hold on to that number for later. The other way in which a lot of people get it, as I already mentioned there before, was from lottery style events. Those, we usually get 1 to 2 of those a year. They give you boxes that you guys can roll out. There tends to be mana prisms in those, and they tend to give roughly about 25 mana prisms for each box. So you get quite a bit of mana prisms over time. It does really stack up, and again, is something that can be a boon if you really need a lot of mana prisms. So if you're somebody that's fresh starting the game, or you're just looking to kind of get over the hump a little bit on some of the requirements that you have for your mana prisms, that's an easy way to do it, is to just try to farm more boxes during a lotto. The last way is a much more recent change. It actually hasn't occurred on NA yet as of the recording of this video, but it will be occurring at the 8th Annie this year. So understand that this is going to be something that's going to benefit a lot of players, but it will benefit some more than others. And unfortunately, for better or worse, the ones that it'll benefit the most will be the ones that arguably need it the least. So that's just going to be kind of a little bit of an annoyance. But basically at 8th Annie here coming up, they actually do make a couple of changes to the system, and they now make it so that you guys can get mana prisms every single time you roll in the actual quartz gotcha. So that can include things like Again, tutorial summons that can include Destiny Order summons and your Lucky Bag summons, but it's definitely something you guys want to make note of. So essentially, every single time you use a Quartz, you're going to get 5 mana prisms, and then if you end up doing an entire multi, you're going to get 50. So the +1 here doesn't count for it, but still 50 per multi is definitely a nice and needed addition. A lot of people needed the extra like income for mana prisms, but because this is tied to Quartz, this means you free-to-play players that maybe don't roll as much, you're not going to get as much benefit out of this. You'll still benefit from this every time you roll, but you're not going to get as much as, say, a whale that's going to be rolling constantly. The difference there is, too, if you're a whale or you're just a much more active player, you probably have other ways of getting the mana prisms, and you probably already have a ton as well. So to me, this is one of those things where it's like, it was nice that they added this. This is absolutely a good thing, but it probably could have been handled better in a much more free-to-play friendly way. So don't look the gift horse in the mouth, but obviously this is something that could be improved upon. Because for me personally, and I think I'll demonstrate that here in a minute, you're going to see we do not get enough mana prisms in the game right now for you to actually be able to purchase everything that you potentially want. So with that in mind, again, we can kind of move on to the next thing. So the DaVinci Workshop actually has several ways of spending mana prisms, and I'm going to kind of go through each of them with you. They have dressmaking, which is, again, going to be your costumes. To me, I'm not really going to go over these in this video because costumes don't have any effect on gameplay, really. So as a result, you don't need to factor this into any of your considerations for, hey, what do I need to improve my account? How do I spend this efficiently type of deal? Spending any mana prisms on costumes is inefficient. It's not the best choice you can make. But people really like the costumes that certain servants have, so if you want to go for it, who am I to tell you not to spend your mana prisms on it? If it's, one of your favorite units and you really like the costume, feel free to buy it. No guilt added, anything like that. But obviously, this is something that is just kind of superficial, and it's why I'm going to tell you guys, you can obviously spend your mana prisms here, but it'll begin to rack up pretty quickly. There are numerous other ways that you guys can spend the mana prisms, including the Recollect essences that you guys see there, and then second archive expansions. So this is also something you may want to do. This is going to enhance your storage. This is going to be how you guys are going to, again, get more room for servants and embers to store in your second archive, say after a lotto or something like that. And also how you can store more craft essences for, whenever you get a ton of, like, say, the Valentine Seas or Bond craft essences and you just don't want them filling up your inventory, you can store them in the second archive and save them for later, especially old event Seas. And again, that's pretty much the main ways. Everything else in here is just other DaVinci shop stuff. So realistically, that's going to be how you guys can spend things on kind of a non-gameplay side to this. So what's going to then be the main source of spending mana prisms for a lot of people? Well, there is the rare prism shop in addition to the mana prism shop. But the way a lot of people are going to approach the mana prism shop is they're going to try to purchase craft essences. There are a lot of craft essences in FGO, and some of them are very, very good to have in your account. In fact, I think it's not a stretch to say that most gacha Cs don't stack up to most of the quote-unquote free craft essences that you can actually get in the game. And when I say free, I mean that is to say they're acquired via welfare means. Either an event has given them to you from a shop, or you can purchase them, say, from the DaVinci shop in order to allow you to get them that way. There are also more permanent additions to the DaVinci shop that are going to allow you to enhance your account in various ways. So let's kind of go over them right now. What we have on screen here is actually a handy dandy spreadsheet, something that's really going to help you guys. But you guys can see this is the Mana Prism shop, and this is mostly the renewable portion of the shop. There are a couple of non-renewable things. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the idea behind this is, again, that this is going forward with some new additions that JP has added, what you guys can purchase each month in the DaVinci Mana Prism shop. Now, a focus should probably be made on buying the renewable portion, because while it will come back every single month, you do want to kind of keep picking some of these items up every single month. It's just to your benefit. An example of this would be you can purchase 5 tickets each month from the Mana Prism shop. You'd kind of be a fool not to purchase it. It's just basically free currency to use in the gacha. So to me, this is a little bit of a way of like, hey, maybe that Mana Prisms that you're using or that you're getting from doing your actual rolls, you can kind of use that to reinvest in more currency for the gacha as a little bit of a payback. The feedback loop there, though, is really, really bad. You're not getting very much bang for your buck unless you get a really lucky ticket, but it's still generally advised to always pick up the tickets every single month. So kind of going down the list here, I'm going to start by talking to you guys about what I feel like is a good purchase here and what maybe is on the line and then what isn't a good purchase. So for starters, right off the bat, we have blue cubes. Now, these are currently not in the NA shop, if I remember correctly, and you guys can actually see we do have a couple of notes here. Oh, okay, no, sorry, this has been added as of September 24th. So again, it's not officially a monthly item, but it does frequently appear due to campaigns and things like that. My advice to you guys is if you are stuck on story, to always first use all resources that are available to you. What do I mean by that? I mean, use your command seals since those restore daily. I mean, use any blue cubes you already got via various campaigns. Do anything in your power to do that sort of thing first. And if you feel like you're still struggling with a fight, even maybe using a singular blue cube and your command seals on it, it's probably your sign to go back and actually, try to invest a little bit more in your account rather than trying to keep, forcing it to happen and trying to keep reviving yourself. So just take that kind of on the chin and say, like, look, hey, this is my wake-up call to actually improve my account a little bit more. So to me, purchasing the blue prisms out of the Mana Prism shop is almost always a waste. I would tell you practically to never buy these unless you're just somehow desperate. This is not a good use of your Mana Prisms, especially with all of the other demands for them. This is one of the worst things you can buy. So now, next up here, we have the teapots. You guys can see these are added with the 30 million download campaign in the future. And you're going to be able to exchange for one of these a month. It's going to cost you 30 mana prisms. It's going to cost you 10 mana prisms. You're going to be able to trade 30 times a month for these rather than it being only one purchasable. It is a stack. So you're going to be able to get quite a bit of extra bond out of this. Teapots will enhance your bond by 50%. So you're going to be able to get a decent amount there and be able to bond up your units faster. Now, depending on how you feel about bonding characters, some people believe that this is the best thing that you can possibly do for your account. You're going to get obviously courts and stuff from that. But there is the flip side of that, which is that bonding happens really fast for certain characters, especially units on your front line. Some people worry about bonding them too fast, reaching bond 15 even with some of the units, and then kind of being inefficient with them if they wish to use them from that point on. So if you basically have bond anxiety or you have sort of hyper fixation on bond, you're going to have two different schools of thought on it. So school of thought number one is that the teapots probably aren't really worth your mana prisms. There's not a whole lot of bang for your buck here if you feel like it's just going to bond your characters faster and make you able to use them efficiently less. But school of thought number two that focuses a lot on bond is going to be like, wow, this is a really good bang for my buck. This is exactly what I want. I get even more teapots out of this, which means I get even more bond eventually. Takes a lot of bond to bond up a character, so there's definitely two different schools. I can't tell you which one to think. I can only tell you I personally am usually a little bit more on the side of, again, being a little bit apprehensive about bond at this point in time, because the devs seemingly are trying to get us to max out characters in an effort to, I guess, get us to roll more characters. I don't really think that's going to work for most people, and there is no real harm of using a character at bond 15 or bond 10 if you don't want to use the bond grail on a character. So to me, I think this one's not the best use of your mana prisms. There's way more important items that you should be focusing on besides this, but this isn't the worst thing in the world to buy either. Next up here, we have the faux pas prints. You guys can see this actually requires Ordeal Call Prologue in order to be able to purchase this. So new players will not be able to get this right off the bat. And it's added basically upcoming here with Annie 8. And it also got a trade limit increase to 2 instead of just being 1 for each month. So the interesting part about faux pas prints is going to be that they enhance your unit's attack on individual cards. This sounds really nice at first. It's actually not a very huge impact. It's certainly better to have it than not, but you do get several of these for free anyways. If you feel like you have mana prisms to spare, there's no harm in buying this one. But if you feel like you're really tight on your mana prisms, I actually don't advise this one. I feel like there's a little bit better of uses. Again, the problem that you're going to have is the individual cost for these is 200 per. That is extremely expensive. So you're going to be spending 400 mana prisms each month, basically, to be able to get 2 of these suckers, in which you're already going to be getting a couple anyways, and the pace for these are already just abysmally slow. So most people don't focus too much on the Beast Paw prints. Next up here, we have the command code keys. These are already in the shop. You can exchange for 1 of each month. These are kind of right in the middle as to whether or not you really want them or not. To one degree, you are going to get command code keys from other sources. You are going to get them from free from certain events and maybe even certain campaigns. So they're not an imperative gotta have, but also they do directly correlate to you being able to unlock the cards for your characters to be able to put command codes on them. So if you feel like you have a bunch of characters you want to do this for and you don't have a whole lot of keys, I do think this is a pretty decent one to purchase. It's just maybe not the best use of it, since purchasing all 3 of these will cost you 300 mana prisms a month, or at least 100 for each that you want. Again, the ticket is, to me, the probably just best thing to buy here, unequivocally. Like, if you can spend mana prisms on nothing else, make sure you get the tickets each month. This is really, really good. There is obviously no other way to purchase gacha currency for free. So to me, this is probably the best bang for your buck for each mana prism that you have. It is going to be only doable 5 times each month. It's going to cost you 20. So again, this is only 100 mana prisms. At the end of the day, this is really, really good value. Really, really good bang for your buck. Next up here, we have the foes, or sorry, not the foes, the experience cards. The experience cards are a little bit more of a, I'd say they're on the high end side, but I do know some people that don't feel like this is worth. It really depends on your focus and what your plans are for your account. So if you're a newer player, these are really worth. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. If you're a more veteran player and you feel like you have a lot of your units already leveled up and you don't really see, much more of a future for your embers, this can definitely be a lot more debatable. They're definitely hefty in terms of their cost. You can see it's going to cost you 400 mana prisms basically in order to be able to buy the stacks of 5-star embers, and it's going to end up costing you another 150 basically for the stack of 4-star embers. So they're non-essential in the sense that you're going to get embers from a lot of things, and you can use your AP to farm embers. But you also would then, in theory, have to use your AP to farm embers. So if you want to be able to spend your AP on maybe other things and free yourself up from that, using your mana prisms can be a decent way to exchange for this. So I still like purchasing these. I have a ton of mana prisms to spare on both my accounts. So this one's not really burning a hole in my pocket too much. But again, I can completely understand why some people wouldn't. For me, though, on both my accounts, start by trying to level up all of my units to max level, and then 2, usually have pretty robust grailing plans, and then also future rolling plans. Some people may not. Some people may have a very small account. Maybe it's very easy for them to get their units up to max, and then they don't have a huge use for embers because maybe there's only a couple of units they wish to grail. So again, depending on your feelings on this, you may feel like you don't really need to get these. The choice is yours. It's up to you, but I would advise getting the embers. It just depends on your thought process on it. Next up, we have the foes. Now, the gold foes here are much more recent additions to this. Again, if we zoom out and look at it, you guys can see this was added also with Annie 8 and does require the Ordeal Call Prologue. So they've done a little bit of locking of some of these renewable items in the Mana Prism shop behind story as an effort to both reward people that have gotten it done and have stayed up to date, but also to incentivize people to get it done. So in that regard, I don't really blame them for this. I think this is a nice reward. If you're somebody that's been playing a long time, you have a ton of Mana Prisms, this is an excellent drain on your Mana Prisms. If, however, you are a much newer player, 500 Mana Prisms is a ton. The way to think about this is usually buying Craft Essence copies out of the shop. It's 1,000 for each copy for a total of 5,000. So purchasing the monthly gold foes out of the Mana Prism shop would cost you one of those copies in theory, because it's going to cost you 1,000 to purchase both of these, and you can only do it once. That being said, there is that opportunity cost. For every month you let this go by, that is another set of gold foes that you didn't purchase. Gold foes will enhance the attack and HP stats of your characters beyond their maximum, so it is really, really nice. And they do have an extra maximum in case anyone's wondering about that as a newer player. So there is a finite limit for how many gold foes you can put on a character. But still, there is a lot of value here. But in terms of the overall cost, there is a hefty price to this. And with Mana Prisms being as much of a commodity as they are, especially for newer players and more free-to-play oriented players, I think this one is a hard sell. I think this one is non-essential. So again, you guys can let me know if you feel different, but I feel like this one is a little bit of a trap due to the cost. It's still a really, really nice item to pick up. It's very rare, and you would otherwise have to get this from events and from the occasional campaign that luckily would give it out, or purchasing them with rare prisms, which is much, much more difficult to try and get done. So to me, I feel like, yeah, it's here if you need it, but this is definitely going to be a hefty burn in your Mana Prism supply. Next up here, we have the normal foes. As opposed to the gold foes, these are much better bang for your buck, much better value. And the reason why is, again, going to be they're just much more commonly available, but the issue with foes is, again, that there is no way to grind them. You cannot get them by just going off and farming a node. So you usually only get these from events, login campaigns and stuff, and again, your monthly Mana Prism supply. So there is a period in time kind of coming up here down the stretch where we start getting less events due to the fact that they're running 3-week events here. We're already kind of in the middle of that. So they do kind of not give us as many foes via events anymore due to that. So purchasing the monthly supply is very, very necessary, I feel like. This is still, unless you just have every unit in the game foed, something that you probably should be doing and purchasing. I feel like the value here is really good, and I feel like you absolutely should be trying to get them out of this. Now, there is the alternative way to get them via like FP rolling and stuff like that, or just normal rolling. But to me, I don't really feel like you're going to get a ton that way. You will get some, but not usually of like the 3-star variety here. So you'll get a lot of 1- and 2-star foes, but that's going to be something where it's like, yeah, that'll add up over time, but it's not going to be as impactful as just being able to buy an entire stack of 20 HP and attack foes. So to me, really like this. If you buy these, you basically, each time you buy these, you're going to get one of your units done. That's really, really nice. And something, actually, I say one. No, yeah, it would still be one. So you would be able to progress your account a little bit each time that you do this. I think there's a lot more value there, and making some of your units stronger. It's a way to make your units kind of punch harder than they otherwise normally would, and be able to sustain more damage than they otherwise would. So I do like the idea of purchasing foes, especially the 3-star variety, since they're priced a lot more generously in that regard. Now, there has been a one-time purchase here with LB3's release of a Bond Grail from the Mana Prism shop. It is a permanent edition. It should be available to everybody for the singular time. It has never gotten renewed or come back, though, so it is what it is. It's just worth a worthy mention, as yes, you absolutely should buy this. The cost is 1, so it's absolutely insane in terms of its value. So just make sure you get it. But again, that is all of your renewable items in the shop. For me, the highlights absolutely are the tickets, the normal foes, and probably the experience in that order. And then if you have more Mana Prisms to spare, things like the the gold foes, the keys, and the beast paw prints. Those are probably where I would kind of invest a lot of my mana prisms. But again, you don't have to buy everything here. Try to go down this in the pecking order of always get the tickets first, then probably the foes, then probably the experience, and then everything else can kind of be your prerogative depending. But again, you don't have to get the experience if you feel like you have another really good source of it. So that's going to be your monthly renewable items. Now, I should probably mention again, because this does kind of go hand in hand, but I have mentioned several times here rare prisms. Rare prisms are a sort of higher version of mana prisms. We're not going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to be making another video for the rare prism side of things. Thankfully, it's actually in a weird way getting a little bit more simple due to some of the changes they've made on this end. But it's worthy of mention just in case anyone's curious as to why I'm not going to be covering that here. This is going to be a long enough video as is. I don't need you guys to get distracted with the rare prism side of things. To understand that rare prisms can only be gotten basically from burning a 4-star or higher unit. So that's not something you want to be doing on the regular. The only other ways to get them are via campaigns and the occasional like stuff that they might give out to the players. So it's difficult to get them in that way. There's technically a newer way to get them in terms of the welfare units. When you level them up, you'll get rare prisms, which is definitely nice. But yeah, it's going to kind of be like a finite supply in that regard. But that will tie hand in hand with the Evocation Festival as you guys are able to get more. So that'll, for probably a lot of free-to-play players, be how they actually get the majority of their rare prisms. But yes, just keep in mind, rare prisms are a very limited and finite supply unless you're somebody that's going to be wailing a lot on the gacha. So I do obviously recommend trying to get as much done with the mana prisms as you possibly can. So next up here, we have permanent craft essences that are in the Mana Prism shop. This is going to be where a lot of people do spend the vast majority of their Mana Prisms. And the reason why is going to be there's just such an exorbitant cost here. So usually when we start to look at sort of an account status in the game, one of the things that will really help is determining the amount of these sort of support craft essences that an account has. And the reason why is because this is going to help your efficiency in the game. So for instance, if we look at something like Chaldea Lunchtime here, you guys can actually see, and this spreadsheet is very nice. It gives you guys a link to it. This craft essence is going to, with a normal effect, only increase your bond points earned by 2%. That's nothing really. But if you look at the MLB, so once you get all 5 copies, it will give you 10% bond point increase. That is not a like insignificant effect. That is very nice. So it's absolutely worthy of a slot in your backline or something like that from time to time, maybe on a support character or something, because it's just going to enhance the amount of bond that you're gaining. So earlier when I was talking about bond, I did not try to like convey to you guys in any way, shape, or form that bond in and of itself is bad. You usually do want to bond as much as you possibly can within an efficient like way. So if we start talking about bonding and start talking about hitting a cap, yes, obviously if you're using a unit that's sitting at their cap, you're not going to be gaining any bond with that unit. So that would then make it inefficient. So the idea behind not trying to bond maybe too much is not hyperfixating to the point where you can't use your most effective units efficiently. You want to be bond efficient. You want to be as bond efficient as possible. So in that regard, usually one of the best craft essences to get is something that's going to increase your bond. So in that regard, I do really like something like Chaldea Lunchtime. It's a very, very good craft essence to get. So what then is the problem? The problem is it's going to have a hefty individual cost. It's going to cost you 1,000 mana prisms per copy to purchase something like this. And there will be a trade limit of 5. In other words, you can only ever get enough to MLB the craft essence. You can never get more. So what this means is going to cost you 5,000 mana prisms a pop to MLB one of these CEs. That's going to start to add up real quick, especially if you're a newer player and you're coming in fresh and you haven't purchased any of these. This is going to get spicy for a lot of you really quickly. The good news is they have kind of made changes to this system, because the way this used to work, These were all old, like, temporary CEs that got brought back to being made permanent. But what they did is they actually put it in the rare prism section, and they made it cost a rare prism to re-unlock it. Though once you had unlocked it, it was permanent then, and you had an infinite amount of time to purchase it, as opposed to when it originally released, there was only maybe like 3 months or so. So in that regard, they definitely were nice to bring it back, but the additional cost of a rare prism was really hefty for a lot of like more free-to-play oriented players and players that just didn't have a whole lot of rare prisms lying around. So it really sucked, especially if you were coming into the game late. Thankfully, they have made a change, and they have included unlock conditions for a lot of these craft essences. And you guys are going to see that as we go through this, that almost all of them have this now, and it really is nice because what it's going to do is it's going to mean that as you guys complete these individual story chapters, you will then have access to this CE at the cost of no rare prism. It's still going to cost you the mana prisms in order to purchase it, but it's not going to cost you a rare prism in order to re-unlock it, thank God. Also, if you have already spent a rare prism on it, once you have fulfilled the condition, it will refund you the rare prism. So that's really a nice feature that they added. They were really generous in doing that because they did not have to, but it absolutely plays to the player's advantage that they did. So with that in mind, as we scroll down here, you guys can see there are a ton of these craft essences. There's actually some newer ones on JP that have not gotten brought back. So they were available through a 3-month period, but they have not been brought back permanently into the DaVinci shop. So if you missed that period, they are, at least for right now, gone. But because of that, they also don't have any unlock condition in order to allow the rare prism cost to be nothing. They're just not re-unlockable is the reason why. So when they do get brought back, they will probably have another story unlock condition. You can expect, since again you guys can see here that this is LB6 and this is Trom and this is LB7, that pretty much all of these will have Ordeal Call specific unlock conditions in order to be able to get them. Thankfully though, again, that's pretty far down the line, and frankly, most of these have been pretty mixed. In fact, as we begin to talk about this, we kind of need to advise you guys on which one of these are actually good to purchase. So, depending on how you feel about things, there are many schools of thought. I actually do break this down in my new player guide, but to give you guys a little bit more of an extrapolation on that, there are several types of craft essences. There are craft essences that deal with bond, craft essences that deal with QP, craft essences that deal with master experience, and craft essences that deal with mystic code experience. Now, interestingly enough, some people have different priorities in this game for what they think you should get and do. This is a really difficult and complex topic to talk about because it really depends on what your priorities are and what your personality is like as an actual player of the game. To me, personally, I feel like most people attribute bond to being very high value. Most people attribute QP to being kind of good value. Most people attribute master experience to having almost no value. And most people attribute mystic code to being, well, it kind of depends on where you're at in your account's life. So same thing kind of with QP in that regard. These two are pretty even. So a lot of people will tell you to just go ahead and pick all the bond Cs that you can right away because it's going to benefit you in the long run. That is definitely a school of thought. There's nothing wrong with that school of thought. I have, however, seen that newer players, especially as they start trying to work on the skills for their characters, run out of QP insanely fast. So QP can be a really, really good one for you to actually pick up early. It just depends on, again, how you feel about these subjects. If you're fine with just going in and grinding the QP daily instead of saying going and completing more story or going and grinding more embers or going and getting more free quests in order to grind more ascension materials. The choice is yours as to what to grind, but changing where your focus is really just depends. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? I'm right in the middle of recording, but I guess editor can edit this part out. How was Melty Blood? And welcome. We're actually recording a video right now for FGO. Nebula Toast, thank you for the follow. Bracket went ham. Oh, damn. How has Melty Blood been treating you guys lately? Actually, it's been a hot second since I've heard much news about it. Went 1 and 2? Nice. Game is uber peak. Best patch. Good. Glad to hear it's doing well. Feel like Type Moon can always use that. Cooking the ranked ladder instead. Yeah, I'm only cursory, like, familiar with it, just in the sense that I've spent very, very little time with it myself. But I definitely have some friends that love it. But again, thank you guys for the raid. Welcome. Feel free to settle in, get comfy. My name's Kadroth. If you guys have never met me, I love to stream FGO related stuff all the time. So I'm a huge fan of Type Moon. And yeah, I'm just going to get back to recording here because this is going to be a long video. Okay, so where was I at on this? Oh, right. So the Master and Mystic Code stuff. So again, like Bond is a very, very good thing to get. Some people would tell you to instead focus on QP early. I think that has a lot of merit, but it definitely depends on what your goal is in the long run and whether or not you're good with actually grinding the QP dailies and trying to kind of get a lot done on that side, as opposed to spending your AP on other things that are maybe more lucrative to you. And that being said, as you do pick up the QPCs, you probably will want to grind the QP at least some in order to be able to gain that benefit. So there is still going to be a little bit of a trade-off. But at least that means that when you do grind that, you will be more efficient at it and you will get more bang for your buck. Master experience, I feel like, is just almost not worth to ever buy these craft essences until much, much later on. And the reason why is because most people don't actually need to hyperfixate on it. It's usually something that just gets leveled up by default. And honestly, you pretty much level all the way up into the hundreds very, very fast as a new player. So it's usually not to your benefit necessarily to try to actually min-max this. After, I believe it's Master level 140, there's really not a huge benefit. It starts to really, really slow down in terms of Master levels and benefits that you get. And at that point, you just start occasionally getting maybe a singular point of team party cost, which is good, but it's only usually every 10 levels after 140. And you also get at least a couple more friend slots. So if you feel like you need more friend slots, it can definitely be a thing. But most people just choose to kind of grind that one passively, as it just levels up from everything you do. So most people don't try to buy the craft essences to try and enhance it too much. And then Mystic Code experience, you can make the same argument about like Master experience as you could with Mystic Codes, but the difference is Mystic Codes actually do affect your gameplay. So most people will actually buy the Mystic Code experience increases and try to kind of level up their Mystic Codes as fast as they can. The one exception to this rule, though, is the plug suit variety of Mystic Codes. So there are 2 of them at the moment. They're the ones that allow you to have order change and allow you to switch the party around. Most people don't try to like fast track those 2 Mystic Codes because you have to use them so often. It's one of the only ways to switch your party without killing someone. So it's usually prioritized just kind of by default due to certain compositions requiring it. So at that point, most people don't have to actually try to fixate on leveling those 2. But usually you're going to try to want to level up all of your Mystic Codes, especially ones that have some pretty good uses. So at that point, people do actually purchase the Mystic Code craft essences, as they will enhance the experience that those get and allow you to level them up faster. Now, those are the 4 types, but then there are mixes and matches between the 2. So you might have a C that gives you both Bond and QP, or Master and Mystic Code experience. those sorts of things happen. What I will generally tell you as a rule of thumb is that, at least for the first couple on this list, they are almost all craft essences that will give you 10% of a given like effect. So Chaldea Lunchtime, as you guys remember, gives you 10% bond up. Mona Lisa gives you 10% QP gained. Personal Lesson gives you 10% Mystic Code gained. And Personal Training gives you 10% Master Experience gain. Usually these are really good. I highly recommend buying all 4 of these, even Personal Training, though Personal Training can wait to last or be kind of slow rolled until you get some of the other ones. And the reason why is because 10% is a hefty amount compared to what some of these other ones give, and it's really, really good to have these for yourself. Now, then there is a variety that kind of comes up here that's split, like Detective Foams or Chaldea Tea Time, which is solo. And what this does is Chaldea Tea Time, instead of being a 10% split, it is 5% for you and 15% if you put it up on your friend support and a friend uses it instead. You're not going to get that 15% benefit, but they will. So they'll be more likely to take that, and this will be a good craft essence for generating you friend points. A lot of people look for Chaldea Tea Time on specific meta supports that they use in the game, and so this one's a really, really good one to purchase if you wish to gain more FP faster. The thing that I'll say here is these usually take a backseat to the 10% ones because they're not as beneficial to you directly. And then from there, I feel like a lot of this depends on whether or not you have a robust enough support list to get people to use the certain units. So if you have meta supports, usually what a lot of people look for on their actual supports when going into a node. So that's one of the reasons that people will kind of prioritize those that have these CEs at the expense of taking basically anything else on support. Not always a guarantee, but it's why a lot of people do focus on it. So in that regard, purchasing some of these can be really useful, at least to your friends, but not as much to you. From there, I do recommend, though, at least getting like the QP, the Bond, and maybe the Mystic Code one. Some of the split ones can be really, really good, but it depends on what the split is. So as we already mentioned, Detective Foams here, it's a really good one. It's actually all attack scaling, so it's a good craft essence to level as well. But this one is 5% bond and 5% QP gain, so you're still getting 10%. It's just split between the two. If you need both of those effects at the same time, it's perfect. It's great. Highly recommend it. And you are going to have something where you'll feel like stacking some of these. So you might take Chaldea Lunchtime, Detective Foams, and Chaldea Tea Time all at the same time in your own back line of your party in order to stack the maximum amount of potential bond that you can gain. So eventually you will want to purchase them, but your priority should be the 10% Cs, then maybe the split Cs, then maybe the 5 and 15% Cs. And then we get into a category where things start to get weird. So for instance, if we start looking at Seeking the End of Eternity right here, you guys can actually see this one is increases your friend points gained when using a friend support and say Master Experience. There are several variants of these, basically one for each of the 4 types with friend points gained when a support uses it. So you'll get more. It's definitely nice. I just don't feel like these have a whole lot of value unless you really want to fixate and prioritize your FP. To me, it can definitely be a thing, but I think this kicks them pretty much a lot further down the list than most of the other ones that you wish to acquire. And honestly, it starts getting really, really weird at certain points as we do start to get, how do I put this, some really mixed results ones. Let me see if I can find you guys an example of this. I believe Man in Chaldea is one of them. Yeah, so Man in Chaldea is also one where it's friend points gain, Master and Mystic Code, but they split the 5% now. These, to me, personally, they're not worth purchasing. They're not worth the 5,000 mana prisms. It's too diluted. It's too spread out. There's no real huge benefit to this. And I feel like a lot of people, when these came out, didn't purchase them because of that. Mana prisms are very difficult to acquire enough of in order to be able to kind of spend a lot on your account. So it really is something where you kind of have to triage this and just prioritize certain CEs over others. So don't feel bad if you either don't have enough mana prisms to purchase some of these, or you just kind of decide, hey, these aren't really worth my time. It's perfectly fine. Just get the ones that you feel like will help your account the most due to your play style. Now, again, obviously over time, you may find other ways to acquire some of these, and you may be able to like kind of fall into a really nice sum of mana prisms. Maybe you do a lot of rolling, maybe you do a lot of farming and a lotto. That's fine if you want to adjust your desire to kind of collect all of these later, but you don't have to get them. Again, get the 10%, get the mixed ones with 5% each and stuff first. Those are better for your account. But it is what it is, and now we've actually gotten into an area here where some of the more recent ones are actually a little bit better. They're a little bit more useful, because you can see here, this one is basically going to increase bond points gained of allies with lawful good by 20%. This sounds great. It's 20%, right? But then you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, but it's only lawful good. That sounds really bad and restrictive. And you're right, but you can also just tailor your party that way. So if you want to gain the most benefit out of this, you can just take a bunch of lawful good alignment people in at the same time. There's also one for enhancing all casters and riders by 20%. So again, these ones actually do have some value. I feel like they definitely can be better. And it does look like the devs have kind of caught on that, yeah, some of the some of the mana prism shop Cs that they were offering weren't that good. So you really didn't need to spend kind of your time and resources on that, especially since your daily income for mana prisms is so low. So again, these are the permanent Cs that you guys can get. They will always be in the shop unless we're talking about one of these more recent ones where it has not come back. Some of them you may need to unlock. It may cost you a rare prism if you haven't done the story up to a certain point. But once you fulfill the unlock condition, it will remove the requirement from it and refund you a rare prism if you had already spent it. And then from there, each copy is going to cost you 1,000 mana prisms for a total of 5,000. And that is a summary of what this section of the mana prism shop is like. But that's not all. You see, now the devs have started getting spicy with things, and they've started to bring back older craft essences that were welfare from events, craft essences that people missed out on and really wanted to get back. That is the recollection craft essences. And we're actually going to get the first batch of these coming up here at Anniversary 8 this year on NA. So this is going to kind of throw a monkey wrench into people's plans that are maybe just hoping to purchase just those support craft essences from the permanent side of things. Interestingly enough, recollection craft essences are very variant. Certain ones are going to be really, really good for your account. Others, not so much. Some of them will be very situational. Some of them will be just extremely meta. And it really just depends on how long you've been playing the game. If you're a new player watching this video, you're going to want a lot of these. If you're a more veteran player watching this video, you probably already have a lot of these. So it's really going to depend on where your account is at in terms of your priority order for these. Now, like I said, the first batch is going to come out at Annie 8 coming up this year. That means you will only have up to here to purchase right on the outset. But we have gotten a ton already over the years here on JP, and we're probably going to get even more. There's still several of them out there that they have never brought back that people really want to see. But there are some very, very easy highlights that I can kind of point to that are very much worth your investment. Now, to a degree, each one of these needs to be looked at one by one. If I sat here and did that for an entire video, this video would never end. So I'm not going to do that with you, but I am going to point out to you a couple of key ones that I think you should really focus on. And obviously, maybe at some point I will go back and go through each one of these one by one in a separate video. But for right now, I think within the first batch right here, Golden Sumo, absolutely worth the investment. It is 5,000 mana prisms. This one is a 50% attack scaling, 50% charge, starting charge CE with all attack scaling and 15% attack up on the craft essence. So it's a really, really nice one. It's not necessarily going to outpace certain other craft essences if you're just like NPing and stuff, but it's really, really good when you feel like you're going to be doing a mixture of just about everything, especially a lot of carding. This one can be really, really nice. And again, the question is going to be, should you prioritize something like this over, say, the permanent craft essences that support your account a little bit more? That's going to depend on what you have available. I feel like we actually do get a ton of really good welfare craft essences from events. There's still a ton coming up on NA. There is still going to be more released, I'm sure, on JP. So to me, these don't have to be a super priority for you, because you should very quickly upon playing the game get other good craft essences to help you out, assuming you're doing your events. And I highly recommend doing that. Now, that being said, you may be story locked out of the events if you haven't kind of caught up enough in order to do certain ones. That can be a major thorn in your side as a new player. That's why we always tell you guys to prioritize story as much as you can to try and get caught up. But again, as you look to this, you can maybe say, hey, as long as I can get my hands on some of those other good welfares that are currently coming out, maybe don't need some of these as much. From there, from the second batch, just kind of looking at this, honestly, it's Holy Night Supper. Holy Night Supper is still just ridiculously good. It's also another 50% starting charge craft essence. You're going to want a lot of those. This one's also all attack scaling in terms of its stats, so it's a really good one to level up. And it also gives NP damage up and crit damage as well. So it's a really, really solid one from the second batch here. But there are other Cs now that kind of outpace it. So it just depends on kind of what you need. Looking at the third batch here, honestly, it's probably going to be the Merciless one and Golden Captures the Carp. These two stand out for me in a couple of ways. The Merciless one is basically a craft essence where if the unit with it dies, it's going to give the rest of the party charge. It is really, really a solid one, as you guys can see here. It will also increase buster performance of all of the units available in the party. So you can use these on units that you feel like maybe have like a taunt skill or something to get them killed on purpose, and then use that to rotate the party and buff the rest of the remaining party. This one can be really, really nice in terms of its overall effect, and there is no other CE that comes close to what it can do. There are others that are similar, but they're not as good as what the Merciless one does. And then Golden Captures the Carp is another really, really solid one, as it is both a Star Bomb CE and it has 50% charge. So whenever the unit enters the field, they will basically give you 20% stars right off the rip. So it's really, really nice if they get rotated in, or if they just start there turn one, you're going to get those 20 stars. You won't get them per turn, but you will get a nice big lump sum of stars off of one shot. It's also going to charge, again, 50% charge right there, and be all attack scaling. So you can actually invest in this craft essence if you really want to, but you don't necessarily have to like level 100 it or anything. So those two are pretty good from that third batch. From the fourth batch here, I already see it. It's just kind of sticking out like a sore thumb at this point. Yeah, it's gonna be Ox Demon King. Ox Demon King is unparalleled in what this game can do. A lot of bond Cs in the game can give you like attack up for the rest of the party, or buster up for the rest of the party, or some other effect. And usually you don't want to use those. We do have the grand system upcoming that'll kind of shake that up a little bit, but usually you don't want to use those on anybody other than a like meta support type of unit, where you maybe don't care what craft essence they have, because they're just supporting your damage dealer. Ox Demon King is great for this sort of thing without having to have a bond CE. It basically is the effect of a bond CE without requiring you to bond a unit to bond 10. What do I mean? So as we go to look at the effects of it, it will allow you to, when entering the field for the first time, increase the party's buster performance by 15% for 3 turns. There is no arts equivalent or quick equivalent to this in the entire game outside of bond CEs. Also, the only other equivalent to this CE outside of bond CEs is another one that just came out on JP that gives 15% attack up for 3 turns. So that can actually be stacked with this one, and if you have a buster party, this will just make them hit very, very, very hard. So Ox Demon King is one of the older CEs. It is extremely valuable. Highly, highly recommend getting your hands on it whenever you get the opportunity to. From here, looking at the final batch that has come out, honestly, nothing in this batch particularly screams at me. Hot Springs Under the Moon is okay. Dive to Blue is okay. Foxy Lady is okay. But really, like, out of a lot of these, they're good, but they're not, like, nearly as high priority as the ones I've already listed. So to me, again, these Recollection Cs, really, really nice to have, can absolutely benefit your account. I highly recommend going through each one of them one by one on your own and looking at the effects and maybe seeing if any of them help you. But they probably aren't a huge priority, assuming you're doing your events as they come out, compared to some of the permanent Cs, which are going to be much more of a kind of get it or lose it type of deal as they come out with new ones. With that in mind, if they do come out with a new permanent Cs after the release of this video, remember, you will have a 3-month time period to be able to purchase it. So usually we advise you guys to make a decision then and either get it right then or not at all, because you're going to be waiting a little bit of time for them to actually get permanently added back. So in that regard, I would tell you to try to prioritize probably that over buying any of the other CEs, as those other ones can wait. But again, that is basically what you guys are going to do. You guys can also purchase command codes now, and in a similar fashion, they have added some of these back to the shop. Usually, command codes are gotten, especially of the 3-star variety and higher, from the actual events. This is a much more recent addition as they started to add these back, and they haven't added nearly enough of them back. You guys can see the list, while it has grown, is still rather short. There's actually less of these than there are the Recollection Cs, which is kind of wild, as Recollection Cs were something that they did a little bit later than this. But again, some of these can be highly, highly valuable to you depending on what you're after. In particular, it's really going to come down to, like, again, the effects of each one of these and how you feel like they can help you. I do recommend something like White Vessel's Command Seal, especially if you didn't get the original copy. But if you did, this means you have 2 of it now. If you didn't, this means you can now basically finally pick this up. This one's a really, really nice one. Otherwise, the rest of them are pretty nice in terms of enhancing like damage and things like that. They're not necessarily a guaranteed gotta have type of deal. And you guys can see that basically most of these are, to me, not something that are like, oh my god, I immediately need to go out and get this. Yeah, just kind of looking at it. Honestly, the experienced Fantasy's Command Seal can also be another decent one, as it's actually Star Soak that you can put on an arts card and stuff like that. So there's some decent value here, but these probably should not be your priority for your mana prisms, at least not in the short term. Maybe in the long term, you can finally get around to getting some of these, but pretty much other than White Vessel's Command Seal, none of them really scream as an immediate gotta have type of deal. And that's basically where you guys are going to spend the vast majority of your mana prisms. With regards to what needs to be prioritized as opposed to the different like sectors of what you can purchase, personally, with mana prisms, I would try to fixate a lot more on the permanent CEs and the sort of renewable shop first. You need to start purchasing some of the more essential things in the renewable shop, as it's very much an opportunity cost each month. If you don't get it, it's gone, and so therefore that's another month you didn't get it. But don't let this delay you too much from being able to get some of the like craft essences that are really going to help your account, or some of the craft essences that are really going to help you in battle. It is what it is. You're going to have to figure out a balance for each of these, but hopefully this Mana Prism Shop guide helped you. I'm sure the devs will make more changes in the future. I'll try to address them as is. Stay tuned for more. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think your priority should be out of the Mana Prism Shop. But again, always appreciate the support. It really helps the channel. It really helps me make videos like this. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys for the next one. Later. Told you guys that was going to be a long one. And that was without me going through every single one of those craft essences and command codes. I don't even want to think about it if I did. That would have been forever. Or for challenge content where things are free. Yeah. Again, thank you, Training Mode Net Neo, for the raid. Appreciate it. Congratulations on another one done, Cad. Yeah. I've been meaning to make this one for a long time. One of my most successful videos on YouTube was my Rare Prism Shop video. And I actually need to update that one, but I never made a Mana Prism Shop video. I talked about it extensively in the new player guide. Like, it's a huge section, is like basically how to be AP efficient at addressing your needs. So you guys can see there's all the stuff with like dailies, pure prisms, servant enhancement and stuff. And let me see, quantum particles. Yes, chat, that's what QP stands for. And then like the Mana Prism exchange. This needs to be updated quite a bit now. All of that kind of fell out, but and then rare prisms. So it's like, but you can see it's like, I'm like, hey, if you need to know more about rare prisms, go watch this video. I don't have anything like that for Mana Prisms, so I couldn't just link someone to some easy resource. And unfortunately, for better or worse, like I mentioned before, the Mana Prism like section, or sorry, the DaVinci Workshop section used to be atrocious on fandom, and even now I feel like there's a lot they could do to improve it. So I'm definitely happy that they have, but good God. Yeah, at least they gave you a table of contents to jump to, too. Can't wait to watch it later. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh. All right, chat. Any questions? Because I know I don't read chat very much while I'm doing these things. Oh my God. Ugh. I think it was hunched over too long. I have like chest pain. Under events, let alone the DaVinci Workshop page now. Oh, I know. Like, it's funny too because I asked Avalon basically to, because what I was gonna do is I was gonna use this page, and it was like, hey, are they missing anything? And then Avalon came back to me with like a list of here's what they're like, everything they're missing. And I was like, of course they are. And then I asked Avalon to like, you know, give me some links basically for what they're missing, or like at least assemble it for me so that I could be like, hey, now I can go through here and then go over this. And instead Avalon was just like, here's the entire spreadsheet. I was like, oh, thank you. That makes it much easier. Thank you again for that, Avalon. I appreciate it. Definitely made doing something like this a lot more structured and easy. Disrunga, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I've been wrong since last September because fandom didn't say 5 of them returned. Yeah, that happens. Look, I'll say this. Fandom is an excellent resource. I am super appreciative to all the support that they provide this community, but they're also super lazy sometimes. And I've had people before be like, oh, you know, if you think they're so lazy, why don't you go and update it? And I'm like, you can't. You actually have to be approved by them. You have to go and like go through an entire process. And that's fine. Like, honestly, if I weren't a content creator, I probably would. But I'm a content creator. And I have way too much like time already taken up by various other things. So it's one of those deals where they just like, I have to kind of criticize it to get them to like get off their ass. But I I'm still like I'm appreciative that they do it. I just wish they would be better about it. Is really all it is, right? And so it's like I would help if I could, but I don't have the time to help. Will you include the spreadsheet in the video for this? Yeah, absolutely. Because it like, and that sort of thing, then it makes it easy if we like, oh, there's some major change, we can just go update the spreadsheet, and then like, then the video is still accurate. Wait, when do we get rare prisms back from the seas we bought? So you're talking about craft essences like the permanencies here. Like once they make these changes, you'll start just getting them back if you already have it completed. So it's like if you have purchased Man of Chaldea, but you have LB7 done, whenever they enact this, like whenever it comes back permanently, you'll get it. I find it funny how NE8 got shat on, but most of the good stuff here is from there. Like I said, you guys know this is a sore subject for me because I watch people complain about this crap all the time. Every anniversary that comes out is always the quote-unquote worst anniversary FGO's ever had. And I always try to point to people, I'm like, y'all are just being overly critical. Like I think people only look at anniversaries from a perspective of courts. And if they don't feel like they got more courts than the last anniversary, they think the anniversary is shit. And I instead look at the entire picture and I just go like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, NE8 was one of the worst ones they've had. But I didn't think it was like, oh my God, this anniversary is terrible. It was just one of those where it was like, yeah, we just didn't necessarily get everything that people were looking forward to. I think a lot of people were upset at NE8 and NE9 because of coins. And to a degree, that's fine. Like, I don't blame you. You have every right to be upset over that. That is 100% on the devs. But I also said, like, just because they didn't put a coin fix in doesn't mean the anniversary itself is bad. It's dev malfeasance on that end. What's a healthy NP level? Usually 2. You didn't get 8 bajillion retroactive courts, yes. Avalon makes great spreadsheets. He does. I'd also like to think that I had something to do with that. Not in the sense of like I told him what to do on this one, but in the sense of like in the past, I have definitely like yelled at Avalon over some of this. Also, I think like a lot of this is in general, like it's similar to the way that we were doing things. Like before Avalon came on and started helping us with stuff. Does he excel at them? I wouldn't say that. I think Squirtle might need NP3 now. For what? Like in general? Or like just for yourself? Ow. 90 plus plus? I mean, NP2's working in this current one, so like for better or worse, 90 plus plus seems to be like NP2. It's always NP2 unless you're trying to do something really crazy or the node is like with how it sits in the event, like there's just not a lot of bonus. So there's no like damage bonus from units. There's no damage bonus from craft essences. So like maybe the only damage bonus is the actual gotcha unit from the event. And then you go like, oh, well, I didn't roll the gotcha units. And it's like, yeah, guess what? You're fucked. They have unfortunately done that to us a couple of times here lately. It's not that like, oh, the gotcha unit was the only solution. It's that the gotcha unit was far and away like one of the best solutions. And if you didn't have them, you were kind of like stuck in a really weird place where it's like maybe you needed even higher than NP2s. I feel like my MP2 isn't strong enough without gold foes. Are you like double? So are you MLB Black Grail and are you double Castoria? There's no higher jump than NP1 to NP2? Well, hold on. There is a higher jump than that. NP0 to NP1. It's a 100% increase. But yes, you're not wrong. Or Lotto in, so I didn't check to see if she could kill the 600k enemy. Yeah, mine's a little too strong. Mine gets in there and I think it does like 1 million damage turn one. So it's like, wow. Do you have a video with recommended Cs to get to level 100? No, because that would be another video that would take me all night. In general, I think I have a video all the way back in the day talking about like craft essence priorities. You'd have to go check. It's probably under the explained series, which has a entire like playlist for it. But go back there and check there, Aniko. And I think I have one that talks similarly about it, because what it does, and I think I also talk about it a little bit in the new player guide, but the general purpose idea for like what craft essences you want to level to 100, almost all of them are going to be craft essences that scale to like, craft essences that scale to 2000 attack. All of them. Like it's the quote. You'll hear me say this all the time on videos. But it is the all attack scaling CEs. This is a good indicator that the CE might be good. It doesn't mean just go out and level everything that has all attack, but like, I mean, again, like if it's an all attack scaling C and has like 50% charge and some type of steroid on it, it's probably good. Black Grail, K-Scope, also really good. And then from there, there's a couple of other Cs that maybe aren't attack scaling that you might want to level, but it just depends. Depends on what you're doing. I really like leveling Prisma Cosmos all the way up to 100. Reason why, it's all HP scaling, and I frequently put it on my supports. So it just makes my supports beefier in challenge content. Are there any mixed HPCs you'd recommend? There's a couple where it's like, if you don't have better options, it's not the worst idea. However, that being said, most of those kind of got killed by recollection Cs being a thing. It's like, they were good options if you didn't have anything better, and there was no capacity to get something better. Now you have the capacity to get something better at your fingertips. So I don't really feel like that's that big of a thing. Where are you getting these Google Docs? Either I am making them or Avalon is making them. And sometimes we assemble it with data from fandom. Sometimes we assemble it with data from Atlas. Sometimes we assemble it with data from Domus Aurea. Sometimes we assemble it with data from App Media, like everywhere. It's weird because I'm at the point with how many guides that I've created. It's almost like I need a website or something to keep track of it all. Because I know what I've made. Some older people in chat know what I've made. But it's otherwise pretty difficult to keep track of. Like I have a tough time remembering it even myself sometimes, and then finding it is rough. Like, for instance, chat, you guys know that I have an entire video and craft essence that handles the entire calculation of how much FP you probably need a year to do your grail casting. Go check out my grail casting explained video. Do I have one for evocation? We put out a video for evocation. Did that have a spreadsheet, Avalon? I don't remember if it did. I don't think it did. Cross-referencing stuff to have the correct info. Yeah, that's so. Like I said, I love fandom, but fandom isn't always known for its accuracy. So we kind of have to like dot our I's and cross our T's. And that's why you'll see us use so many different sources. But yeah, I do have an evocation festival explained. But numerous times I noticed fandom mistakes. Yeah, it happens. Like, I mean, shit, there's been times we've made mistakes too. So, like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh my god, they're so like bad. Why are they wrong all the time?" Fandom's not wrong all the time. They're right most of the time. But people make mistakes, especially when they're in a hurry, and it's something you just have to check up on. Like, I've gotten to the point now when it's happened to me enough times that when any new servant comes out, I, at least day one, if I'm recording the video, I go double check fandom's info with like Atlas, like because fandom is a secondary source, chat. It is never the primary source. Fandom gets all of its info from other places. That is to say, it'll get it from a live stream, it'll get it from Atlas in a data mine, like, you name it. So, as a result, sometimes you have to go back to the primary source to check. And we've had to do this numerous times. Not just checking Atlas, we've had to go back to the live streams and check them, see what they say. Because sometimes things get lost in translation. Can you link it? I do not have it handy at the moment. Just Google Kadroth Evocation Festival. You'll probably find it really fast. Oh, ow. Yeah, I think on the Evocation Festival video, I did at least point out, like, hey, these are the ones that aren't out yet. Like, that haven't come back, but I think that was the only one. Because I think that's what I did, Avalon. I remember I asked you which ones haven't come back, and I think you sent me a snippet of, like, here's the ones that haven't, and I just pulled up the picture on screen. Yeah, I literally pulled up the screenshot. Because I think Avalon has a spreadsheet for that as well. It's just we didn't use it in the video. Because there's not really any point to it. Okay, chat. That's going to be it for me tonight. Let me see who all's on. Mr. CZ's on. I'm going to send you guys his way. And, chat, I should be back tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow, so... It sucks. I also have a couple of things I need to do. But I should be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'll be doing. Probably more Monster Hunter, but it'll depend. Maybe I'll spice things up. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging around to the end of stream. Go give Mr. CZ my love. He's a member of my stream team. He also loves to stream FGO. I think he's doing Star Rail at the moment. But I'll see you guys for the next one. Thank you.